Alright everybody, it's 7 o'clock, it's 7:01, so let's get started for the May meeting of the Newbury Comtown. Jen, your X's are the continuances.
Yes.
Okay. So Brian Kelly of 336th Street, continued NOI to raise an existing home and construct a new single-family dwelling. Alright, on. If anybody walks in later, then you can ask who it's
So we can recall it later if you want.
Yeah.
Say that you're gonna recall it.
It's been like on the automatic continue list for forever.
What did we talk about last time? Because this has happened before. Do we wanna?
They've submitted some new information, I believe this month, so,
They were back a couple of months ago.
yeah, they were back in February.
Okay.
They worked on some more stuff, I believe they gave us some updated plans this month. So I kinda thought that they were gonna be here, but, so just save it.
Yeah, so we'll just save it for later. And we can always continue again later. Alright, so Town of Newbury, 14th Street, a continued NOI to improve, wait a second, do I need to make a motion to save that for later, or can we just save it for later?
We can just save it for later.
Okay. Anyway, right, Town of Newbury, 14th Street, a continued NOI to improve the right-of-way and construct an emergency access driveway. This hearing has been continued to June 18th.
So you need to make a motion for that.
Move to continue.
Second.
Lovely. All in favor?
Aye.
Brilliant. The hearing has been continued to June 18th now. Jacqueline McKenna of 11 Riverside, a continued NOI to replace a deck platform, conduct landscape work, and after-the-fact approval for repairs to an existing revetment. She would also like this to be continued.
Move to continue.
Excellent.
Second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Lovely. So this has been continued to June 18th. So we have now Peter La Riviere. 17 Marsh Road, a continued NOI to reconstruct an existing pier. Peter, what do we got?
Is
Andrew
Andrew doing the
Haley
work?
on behalf
Yeah,
of Peter.
yeah.
I didn't say that last time. Last time we needed to hear from the Fisheries.
Yep.
I did. And they wanted to go with a 1.5-to-1 ratio. And I called Kate Q up, who was a very nice young lady. Talked to her about my concerns about the 1.5. And she is allowed us to get on the original ratio of 1-to-1.
And this is the same email?
No, that's the first one,
Right.
And that was
These
the
two are the second.
like the copies.
Yeah, so just if you guys want to have a look.
She should, I don't know if you have that one. So basically, it's just gonna stick with the original plan that we submitted the first meeting.
No, he gets it next.
Was that the only outstanding issue we had?
It says, do you have new data recommend? Further review, do not continue.
They're saying the guidelines recommend a 1.5 to 1.
Yeah, so they just went by the book and then they looked closer and.
Yeah, she took a good look at what we were trying to do, and she was happy with the fact that we're getting this dock up and out of the marsh.
Okay. So,
So is this the plan that we're working with?
I don't think so.
Hand drawn?
The hand-drawn one is the one with the most detail, that was the original one I
does have
submitted.
an interest.
I do have an updated one that doesn't have as much information on it as the first one. Yeah, that
It would probably be good if we had something that showed just the 1-to-1 plan. And then
see if it,
that would
see
be
if this
fine.
meets your, well, it kinda does, Danny, on that one, it's 4 feet wide and 4 feet tall.
All right, and that's the way it's gonna be built. Okay?
That's it.
And
This is more or less the same thing, just not done with crayons.
4 foot up,
4 feet wide, 4 foot up.
so there's no need for a plan change. Is the
No.
way you wanted to do it all, or?
Right from the get-go. The original plan has more detail, if that's what you're looking for.
No, I'm just trying to remember. I remember this being the only thing we were waiting on, is that correct, that my memory serves me?
Yeah, from the pictures, that's the only thing he doesn't want to be up on.
Okay.
Andrew, is this stuff, can we put this in the file? Okay.
Yeah, I think I've got copies of it, yeah.
That looks like
So
it.
you have a copy of that? You got
I
it?
haven't seen one yet.
Okay, so yeah, we should probably save that,
Yeah, you,
as
yeah, you can
long as you got one.
put on that.
Okay.
I think I need
So all things considered, it sounds like everything was settled up that was left over from last time. So does anyone have any new comments or new things to bring up? Benjamin, are you good? Okay, you seem to be looking at something. All right, well then, at
You
this
wish you
point,
had that piece of property.
What's that?
You wishing you had that piece of property.
No.
No.
No, very familiar, and it's a lovely piece of property, though, okay.
all right, well then, at this point, I suppose, humor a motion. Sorry?
Questions?
Yeah, sorry. Neighbors, concerned citizens, anybody interested in speaking up about this one? Okay, sorry, now I can give a motion, thank you, this is great, you're like a little coach on keeping me in mind.
Move to approve the project as presented.
Second.
Alright, all in favor?
Alright.
Alright, there you go.
Thank you, Andrew.
Ta-da.
Is that it?
Good, that's it.
Thank you.
We got it.
So now the warning about, there is a window now where you can, this approval can be challenged, and if you start working inside that window, that's sort of at your own risk.
No, he
No.
doesn't get to, because of the notification.
Yeah, it's not
So
our
he
yet.
has to wait out the appeals period.
Yeah. I
10
know.
days, right?
Yeah,
I'm glad
so
you're here.
not from today, but from when the order of conditions is mailed to the ED, it's 10 days from the
Oh, just that.
date stamp
Oh,
on
I
it.
know when that date,
Mhm.
when, well, I know how.
So I'll call you and let you know, unfortunately, with Doug not here, he's not in the office to write the order up, so that'll happen after June 3rd, okay?
Beautiful. Alright, good to go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You used to be chair, you remember what to do.
It's too late now.
Decide if you wanted to do it.
You know. I don't think I decided to look
I
at
don't know.
somebody else. I wrote back.
I don't know that.
That's something we'll throw in here.
This is Silverback.
No, you know.
I know, he knows all this, I don't know why. He just gets to hang on plaid shirts. Maybe that's the fun.
I know it looks like on the beach like that. So then what do we got for next? Are we all packed up? You got the new one out? We got ready to go? Alright, lovely.
Go for it.
So we are, Edward Caswell, 4 Plumbush Downs, he continued NOI to elevate and renovate the existing single-family home and to add an addition. And it looks like we've had a continuance
Yes,
requested.
so they've gone through the zoning board of appeals process and they've received their approval, but they had some changes during that process, so they're updating the plans to come back to us, so they wanna be continued to next month.
Alright,
Move to continue.
Seconded.
alright, all in favor?
Alright.
Lovely. Alright, so moving on to the Governor's Academy at 313 Newburyport Turnpike, they continued NOI to construct a dock, gangway, and float. And they also would like a continuance.
Move to continue.
Alright,
Seconded.
alright, all in favor?
Alright.
Alright, Wayne Holt, 5 Second Street, an RDA to install a generator.
I'm just on a rock, I don't know what you're talking about.
imagery. More pictures, we got pictures everywhere, and then feel okay about what they can see. Alright, good. Alright, hi,
Good evening.
good evening. So, yeah,
This is Mr. Holt, he's the owner.
Okay.
He's looking to, his wife are in their eighties and he's got,
I left my hearing aid on the phone.
he has cancer, he had chemo today and they're looking to put a jar in him because they are elderly and, honestly, being down on the island now, they're basically compliant with the Conservation Commission and the Flood Plan Act. He knows the property, he knows the area, he sits up on a knoll. And everything else is in compliance as far as distances from the house and windows and the tanks, and we just need, their authorization so we can go forward with the project.
alright.
I do have a question. You say it's elevated, it's in an X flood zone? X?
That's what we're here for, we sit
No,
up.
no, I'm just, it's a simple question. Do you know what the flood zone is for that property?
No,
One of the highest points on the island.
I mean, I heard it was high, but
sits up behind the,
If you got any mental.
the beach Roma. We're on a knoll, and as the gentleman said, probably the highest point, what the second highest point on the island.
Okay, and,
I mean, the reason for the question is, I think if you're in a AE zone, certain elevation, you'd like to have that generator.
If I was down on Northern Boulevard, I'd be putting it on a 2-foot platform.
let's see, Doug's notes, cause I'm pretty sure it gets.
I don't have it notes, you must have it notes.
Oh, he didn't talk to us about this.
Okay.
He offered me an envelope, a folder like yours, and
Oh, he didn't tell me that, I can reference it.
yeah, and we were all our conversation. He left notes in it. And I said he could keep it. So if you added something,
Fill me in on that kind of stuff.
yeah, apparently I should too.
So I go grab it?
That would be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. So Doug and I talked about this one a little bit, and as you can see, it's already installed. This is an after the fact thing. And
I think he would have noticed if it was in a place with an elevate, if the generator had to be elevated, he could.
right, and that's what I want those notes for, because Doug is very good at making sure that if there's any down the line potential hangups, that we can get ahead of them and just
We want to do it right.
yeah. So it's just want to make sure that there's nothing in there that how should we phrase it, comes into play.
Sure.
But letting that part of the discussion go, does anyone else have any commentary, questions, so on and so forth?
I think we just hit Dan's target.
Okay. And then while we're waiting for those notes, is there any neighbors, anybody here to comment on this? Okay, good. Yeah, we'll just wait for that.
Is that a gas pump there, right? The propane?
Okay.
Well, where's the propane tank?
There it is, that's the question.
That's a good question.
That's Doug's question, yeah.
That's up in this somewhere.
Let's see.
Did you tie into an existing or did you?
Now, there'll be 2 new propane tanks going in,
That's what we-
down on the side of the house. This would show you the fence. Just the other side of the fence, if you wanna look at it, we'll put the tanks just the other side of the fence. Basically, they'll keep us in compliance as far as, easy making it up on the, behind the beach going to fill the tanks. And it keeps us all in compliance as far as being 10 feet from the generator.
How are you gonna secure the tanks?
That's decent propane, they'll get it gapped, they'll do the installation and then they'll get it inspected by the inspector, but, that'd be their obligation, to make sure it's built compliant.
Yeah, it's gonna need to be securely fastened to
Yeah,
someone going in
we
the
got
house.
definitely right on the side of the house if we have to, there's gonna be 2 tanks and we get a chain. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That would be one of the orders. Commissioner.
And the propane line is in the same trench.
Correct, it'll be in its own trench till we get to the chimney, and they're in that'll be down, my pipe,
There will be another small excavation to, connect the tanks to whatever.
To the generator, correct.
I'm pretty sure this is exactly the conversation that, yeah, sounds very familiar. Um, let's find our place. 05.
So is the LP going to the generator or is it going to the
Look
chimney?
at the
and,
page that has it right on there.
Governor's Lane Hole.
Yeah.
Oh, there, they're right there. Elevate generator.
These are a neighbor's tanks, I have to be 10 feet from these tanks here, this is the neighbor's house would be right here.
So where
These
are
are his
you
tanks.
talking about putting tanks?
Our tanks are gonna go, as you can see, how the house, our tanks are gonna go just the other side of this fence, right here. We've trenched down the side of the house, or we're gonna trench down the side of the house here, then jump into the electrical field, and then go across to the generator.
Could you just write, trench there,
So
LP
where
tanks.
is this yard here?
maybe neighbor's LP tank,
So the tanks.
Second Street, yeah.
and then,
That's me.
additional areas.
That's parking, that's my tower in the backyard.
Okay.
It's parking lot out front.
And the tanks are gonna go here? Am I reading your backyard right? This area is this one?
This is a
I
store.
spelled neighbor
The
wrong,
street comes up to the store, that's a dead end there. On Second Street. Comes up to
so
the-
this is
Okay. Thank
10
you.
feet from
Yeah.
his tanks, which keeps us in compliance. And then this is gonna crunch here, so it'll be, gas.
Yeah, well, I think we're good, I mean, it didn't, we didn't have the additional trench for the LP one. Now we got it.
Okay, so, our notes here have to do with elevating the generator. To comply, the 20% lot coverage. And then the one that, we can sort out easily enough, there's a question here that it asks if the tanks are off the property. And just looking at the property lines over here, I'm sure he didn't quite know which fence,
Yeah, the tanks here, this is still part of Wayne's house right here, this is mother entry into
Okay.
the house.
Okay.
The tanks are gonna right below that window,
Okay.
as close to the house, and you can't get one close to the stars.
Okay, and then Jen, this isn't something you're gonna understand. He's got 2x for the application fee.
Yeah, because the work already looks like it's pretty much done, and
Okay.
they applied for everything once the work was already done.
And so is that all settled
That's
up?
what, for the building permit side, yes, I don't know if it has been for the conservation side.
Okay. So, I guess,
So it
why
would be
would do that?
200, so it would be 200 because
Right.
100.
But is that a town thing? Is that a,
I'll have to check on that.
yeah, I didn't know you did this.
So just in defense of Wayne and ourselves, I mean, we didn't know that basically from a Concom standpoint, that we need to go through conservation to do the installation.
Right.
I've got at least 8 generators on the island that I've installed over the last 10 years. And so it was business as usual, but as
But
soon as
you
we were
also
told.
applied for the electrical permit after you did the work. If you had applied for the permit beforehand like you're supposed to, you would have known ahead of time that this is a requirement.
I can also say, I mean, it benefits that something you guys pay, we'll pay.
Yeah, just making sure that, you've been told and you understand. Okay, and then, so we need to elevate the generator. How high do we need to elevate the generator? 2 feet, right? Or is it 18 inches? Or is it 2 feet?
I'm surprised that I think other generators have gone in on the front. But I'm a little reluctant.
Would it be 2 feet above the?
Well, I mean, Plum Island all of Plum Island is a resource area, it's
Right.
barrier beach. And the reason I asked about the flood zone is certainly if it's in the flood zone, it's gotta be above the flood elevation. That happened, with the gentleman who owns the Plum Island Provisions. He was gonna, I think he did put it in, or he was gonna put one in, and that definitely had to be elevated, but that's flood zone AE 13 or something of that nature. So I don't know the exact elevation, but it makes no sense to put a generator in if it's gonna be underwater when needed.
Right.
But it's also a passage of sand.
Yeah, I just, that's,
It's inside a fence.
thinking of,
Yeah,
Sure.
the sand probably not gonna
what
move
we
it.
did at Pitahall. They put one in,
Yeah, rain looks down on that.
Right.
I know that.
and I think that's on the ground.
Yeah.
If we go-
Well, the note has an elevated generator to comply, but doesn't mention the height, the call out for the height. So something that I assume I remember as being 2 feet, but I don't wanna misquote or height there.
Now I have a pre-made, frustrated platform that's basically 2 foot high, so it's not a problem, that's.
Right, that'd be-
We can comply.
Like one of these.
Sitting like, we can bring it down a level,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
take pictures so that everything else will be.
Um,
Our own basis.
And then, yeah, and then Jen, this one's probably for you. He's got the note 20% lot coverage, and I don't remember talking about this.
So that has to do with, basically on Plum Island, anything, you can't exceed 20% of your lot in coverage.
Right.
So that includes your house itself, the decks, outside items like sheds, generators and stuff. All of that combined cannot exceed 20% of the area.
Okay.
So you need to make sure that you're under that figure, you
You
need to
don't-
figure out.
We don't really have the necessary information for the.
Yeah.
Soft plan, we don't
And it's, this 198.
really- Visually, can you?
Yeah, this is the, so, yeah, we've got a few questions left. So what to do at this point? I think we need to hold off.
That'll just be the building department,
So you would get figure out what the lot area is, which you usually find in the assessor's office.
If he takes his boat out of the backyard and the generator's small, if you take the coolers out of the backyard, the generator's small.
Well, those types of portable items don't usually count, I don't think, but you can talk to the building inspector and double check that part.
So, these comments are, not within our particular jurisdiction, right? It's just the elevating of the generator.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, that's-
So who has, does anyone have any comments on what they'd like to do?
If the lot coverage is in the jurisdiction,
Are we expecting the conservation commission to, make the, determination?
Yeah, once it's back, yeah.
What I could see is voting the application. That, and it'd be subject to, it may be conditioned to be 2 feet or it may not, depending on
I don't,
further review. Are you guys, would you be agreeable to that? I mean, the only question I think we have is elevating the generator.
he's got the 2 foot, he's got a 2 foot thing set up, so if he can get the generator up, that takes care of our flood issue. And then, the trench work, I don't think we're worried about the sand blowing away or any erosion issues here going on in
No,
the
it's all
yard.
confined, it's all
Yeah.
being fence and all that.
So
but,
I think that, from my perspective, assuming that we don't have any lot coverage issues and the tanks get secured and fastened appropriately, just bringing back a picture to show to Chen or Doug.
will be the conditions and all part of the
Well, right,
compliance.
but this is an idea. Yeah, so we gotta draft that up.
I mean, we can, we can condition them where
Yes, the condition every day, and they're gonna have to show that window against this compliance check. So we're gonna have conditions that the propane tanks are gonna be appropriately sited and secured, and that the generator will be elevated 2 feet.
Right.
Do they
good.
I move that we have a negative determination based upon those conditions.
Second.
Alright, all in favor? Alright,
So
brilliant.
just so that, to hold my, their correct, I can have it. Secure the tanks, elevate the generator, and we're good.
And check in with the building inspector about the lot coverage issue, and see if that's ETC or something or something.
That's the moment.
I just would say that, this has to be written up, the termination has to be prepared, and then there's a 10-day appeal period, so unfortunately you can't get, you're already started.
But we'll hold, another week's not gonna, another 10 days, that's gonna.
Alright.
Sorry about the meandering route.
Yeah. That was a rather direct solution.
You want it back?
Let me get out, we're all good. You ready?
Good to go?
We're on.
Thank you for remembering, Mr. Hall.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Away we go.
Writing notes on this.
That's fine.
Alright, I know, but did somebody just take that?
Did go, I might have gotten one.
I got it. Fun times. Alright, so we are on to Christian Huntress, 18 Southern Boulevard. An NOI to restore the landscaping grounds, to improve infiltration and remove impervious area.
Evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Great. You.
Chris Huntress. My wife and I own 18 Southern Boulevard. Met a couple of times, get some information that I need to turn in. Check.
Alright.
I'm happy to dive right in, or?
Go for it, dive right in.
Came before, so excuse the, you might be, somebody telling me that. See that, okay?
Yes.
So 18 Southern Boulevard, it's located at the intersection of Southern Boulevard and Columbia. It's actually two lots or two parcels totaling about 17,000 square feet. House sits here on the northern side. It's a two-story, about 1,400 square foot gambrel. It's got a garage under on the first side here, and a turnaround driveway in the front, and deck off the back here. What we'd like to do, and we've had a couple meetings with is to make some renovations which would effectively remove the gravel driveway in the front and make that a seashell driveway. So right now, I'm sorry, with the asphalt driveway that's in the front, try to take that out and make that seashell. We'd also like to build a 500 square foot patio on the side over here, which is the southern side of the house, and then expand the deck. This would be the existing deck, and expands itself so that it turns and faces that patio area. Got a couple of problems over in this area right now. We take water in, the floodage, we're actually above the floodplain. But we've, the French drain is clogged up down there. So I'd like to take that out, remove the asphalt that comes down that driveway, and put some pavers back into the drain system here so that we can infiltrate that and catch it. Keep going, or I'm happy to turn it over to see if there are any initial questions.
I'm happy to hear. I mean, I had a chat with Doug about this, so I'm fairly up to speed, but if anybody else would like to jump right in.
Got some photos if that's helpful.
Yes.
overall, the reduction in pervious surface is about 56% that we're removing about 900 square feet net at the end, because we're taking out 1,400 square feet of asphalt in the driveway. We're adding about 540 square feet of paver between the side and the steps going to the front of the house. And the deck expansion as well. I did talk to Doug about the deck when I was in last, and he has with the elevation of the new deck another foot, so it'll be 2 feet clear underneath the deck, so that's been done as well.
You planning on putting any lattice under the deck or leaving it completely open? Doug have any comments about the photos showing kind of pretty high use for parking cars right there as opposed to what was the existing conditions?
No, not really.
Okay.
The conversation that I had a lot to do with, the drawings were just really nice, in the flagpole head and the birdhouse, and the winter wind and the summer sun, it was just like nice detail.
Taking, the benefit of a landscape architect, I think.
Yeah, it showed in the,
The benefit was I had all winter to kind of poke along at my favorite little project, so, yeah. It took some time.
You put the details were all there. We were chatting out the French drain because it didn't necessarily show in the drawing what the intent was, but you covered that. And we're looking for drainage and narrow drain field, and guessing that it, just infiltrated, and obviously
It does.
It
does now. It's clogged up.
Yeah, the end result is, as you said, less impervious. And so, the detail of the deck, those things we covered, but, I certainly didn't have anything to
Have you detailed, where the asphalt is removed, have you detailed the planting?
There's a planting plan in the submission. Section.
I'm sure it's all native stuff.
It's native, it's drought tolerant, seaside condition plants taken off that list. And the list is here and part of the submission, I have to read through it tonight.
I've got nothing to say. Which, at least have something to say.
The only thing I didn't mention, and you see it in some of the pictures, that picture is a good one. There are 2 retaining walls that go down to the garage under that are leaning in, and are really, they've got holes, they're concrete block walls, and they've got holes going through them. We're getting a lot of water through those walls, it's getting taken quite in the basement. So I'd like to take those down and rebuild them. Another picture, maybe that one shows it better. These walls are reveal on both sides, and they're too high, so we're not gonna build them that high again, we're gonna take them down to grade and do them better, but we are gonna rebuild, we propose to rebuild this wall, so that was one of the questions I had to consider, so I'll make sure that we brought that up. The walls are there now, will be rebuilt a little bit less.
And by keeping them at grade, you're gonna avoid running into the sand and the fencing issues. I assume that's a conversation we have with that. Yep, okay. Do you wanna get into the side parking a little more?
It's a fair question. It's a fair question, right? When you look at it, it's basically what judging from this, how that around the house with grass isn't grass right now. And that's where the work's gonna occur. I'm probably a little concerned about, it looks like from the plan, just eyeballing it, he's pulling the work's curved right through that vegetated area, so we want to make sure that everything is protected and what gets trampled gets replaced.
Do you want to speak to that?
So we have, I'm gonna say prep plan, but there's a plan. So this is, we've tried to put the footprint of the new work really within what was previously disturbed palm gravel driveway here, and out to the back of the center deck. What we're showing around this edge would be a erosion control, come all the way up and around. Once we get past this point, we're really upgrading the village, and proposed building would be going the other way. So I think this would catch anything that would potentially run off into this area. The work would be close, but we'd be effectively matching matching the existing grade along this edge, so I think much of that work can be done by hand. We're not proposing to go to detail, or showing detail pavers that go in here. We're not proposing the full excavation the way you typically would, because we've got a lot of sand and gravel in here now. We think we can break that out, flatten it, probably level it by plus minus an inch, and then install the pavers right on top of that. The intent of these pavers are going on predominantly the native soil today now, it was modified, and still be allowed to move should they need to migrate. We're not gonna mortar the joints or anything.
Yeah, the only comment that Doug and I had that I don't know if this is something you overlooked or not, but the erosion control that you got down as a straw wattle, you probably don't wanna do that. Just because if you do that, then it'll start catching sand and making very tiny dunes and then, become regulated spaces.
I
So,
would use whatever erosion control you guys tell me is the right one to use.
but other than that particular detail, yeah, like I said, I mean, the job itself, the work is, it's well thought out.
Do we have any details on the deck and what they're using for pilings, and showing the vertical separation and all that? Because we want all the there you go. Just checking the box.
Absolutely, I mean, like I said, I had a chat with Doug, so my doctor about that.
Yeah.
I spoke to both and then like, nope, he did that. And,
Yeah, the vibe, you guys agree.
And all winter.
How many times did you stand it? And go,
My wife is a partner in crime here in this, and I gotta tell you, it's been one of the more interesting client conversations. This is the existing deck here on the back of the house. It actually comes over about another 4 or 5 feet this way with a stair that returns down right here. So we're gonna take the nose of that off and create a platform here that's one step down, and then these stairs will return towards the street, and that way and facing the patio area. That's this would be the back elevation along this whole edge here. You can see that it's the existing deck and then steps down here. This platform, which is about 11 feet by 11 feet or 12 by 12. And then returns this way. This would be the side elevation looking this way. This is the dimension that Doug had us take a better look at here. We wanted 2 feet clear under here, and then 3 feet to the top of the deck. And we got some of the post details.
Just hand dug posts?
Right now we've got them on a cast in place concrete post footing, because that's what's there for the existing deck, but I prefer not to direct very wood, but tell me I have to do.
With sonotubes and?
Yes.
Is this a little chimney?
What that is, they used, there's 3 of those under the deck, and it's the mid support for the deck. These existing, they used a lot of concrete block in our house. And so there are 3 little concrete block piers that are under there. That one, I'm probably gonna have to take down a couple of blocks. I'm still gonna reuse it, but I'm gonna take a block or 2 off of it.
Yeah, because you've dropped down from across here, right?
Correct, only one step right there. So, and then the steps return down after that.
So, sounds like everybody seems okay.
No further questions? There are no conditions in there anyway. There are no conditions in there anyway.
Erosion control.
Erosion control.
Yeah, just to change out the erosion control to more of a fence, like the construction fencing kind of thing that allows for the air to flow. Let's say, was it 50% open?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
snow fence, construction fence, just limited work, kind of.
So you don't want like an erosion barrier?
What I mean,
Okay.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, 'cause if you-
I guess another question, the asphalt's going,
Asphalt's all gone.
take it away.
The only asphalt that will remain is on the, it's mostly concrete, but there's on walk on the back side of the house over here, that exists now. We're gonna leave that in place for the most part. The only piece I'm gonna take off is a small corner that goes over my neighbor's property. We're gonna cut that, so I'll cut that off. What's that?
I said that's been bothering me the whole time, but I get lectured by the other members of the commission about overstepping my jurisdiction for
I'll work those over the property.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, I'm just not gonna say anything. I won't say anything. Yeah, my only concern really is, I mean, but it looks like everything can be kind of like, you know, painting yourself into a corner. Is it just the limit that fencing, you know, is there at the limit of work and is respected? That's my only concern, but it doesn't look like, I don't see a situation where that just says to me that it wouldn't be respected.
Okay.
You know, I don't see anything there where they can't work from the outside back towards the house.
Yeah. So then, in the spirit of that concern, do you know who's doing the work?
Likely it'll be Desmond Landscape, now that I know him.
And then, do we have anything in our conditions about making sure there's a copy of the conditions on site?
It will.
I mean,
Standard.
yeah, because something like that, you know, making sure the guys see it and they understand, you know, that kind of. Okay.
Look, it's just from the photos, the vegetation goes right up to the window work, so.
Cool. So then, just thinking, no, that should be okay, because when Doug goes out to do inspections, when we do the CFC, you know, we're gonna have plenty of opportunity to have a look at that and, you know, if that,
And like everything you talked about speaks to, it's been done thoroughly and,
Yeah.
for the recognizing all the limitations, so it's not one of those worried about it.
I know it's just we're used to
I
having
mean,
things to say.
So,
no, I
just
didn't,
one more.
yeah, oh, all right, yeah.
Just, so what I was getting at with you remove the asphalt, and that's gonna be hauled away to some other location. If you have to, maybe you've included this, but if you know, any other material brought in has to be like compatible sand, or, you know, if you're gonna pick up some asphalt, you're probably gonna have to, you know, replace that.
Right, so to keep it free draining, we're actually gonna remove 6 inches of material, so I'm assuming the asphalt's gonna be 2 or 3 inches thick.
Right.
We're gonna remove another 3 inches below that.
And compatible
And then-
sand, is that in your, narrative or whatever in the plan?
And I'm
I mean,
sorry,
if there's certain areas of the yard, asphalt's going away and it's just gonna be planted, I think, right?
asphalt's going away now, pretty
It's
much.
gonna be all seashell, right? So it's just a matter of what you put.
Everything that was asphalt was shells, right? Is that basically what you?
Basically.
With one exception, yes, the short answer is yes, the longer answer is this little slope piece of driveway here.
Yeah.
I didn't wanna put seashells on that, so we're gonna use a paver
Yeah.
down to that, so it'll
Okay.
still be
All right, so,
permeable.
Are you planning on,
dumb question. Right.
I mean, if you had to bring it back up to grade to put the seashells on, then
I'm gonna do
Right.
2 lifts of seashells, so it'll be 6 inches of the seashell and 2 lifts. Make up the 6 inches that we took out.
But the problem is, you know, it's a good question, you got a good answer, you know.
Say that again. You're going down 6 inches.
All down 6 inches.
What's gonna make up the 6 inches? All shells?
I'm gonna do 2 lifts, 3 inches of shells. I'll put a little,
I didn't hear you, that's all.
we would put a little filter fabric under the shells to make sure that the two don't subgrade and the shells don't mix. So it'll be like a little filter fabric layer and then the shells go on top of
Alright, well then,
say this, okay.
yeah, so,
Oh, I have to say.
hold on, slow down.
Alright.
Did we ask for the audience yet? Anybody here
it.
to speak to? No, no neighbors, no concerns, alright. Alright, so then at this point, I assume we're done, with the discussion, so I'll give your motion.
I guess that in the first time in my memory, I'm motioning to approve the NOI as presented. Here.
Second.
Alright, all in favor?
This is a new one.
Well, now we're
For Plum Island, yeah.
Very good job.
Anyway, so all in favor?
Aye.
There we go, that sounded like,
Sorry,
Want the photo?
I'm still a little.
Want to keep those for the file?
yes, please, if you can, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, and you know, best of luck. It's a, like I said, it's a lovely design. It is well spent winter.
Yeah, if anybody asks me, I would put a go-to.
Yeah.
Review their house on Plum Island.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
pretty sure you can't say that.
I don't know, I can't, definitely can't say that. But, yeah, no, I can't remember ever doing that for the pilot road.
Yeah, that was clean.
Yeah.
Alright, so coming up next, we have Nick and Pat Seka, 15 10th Street, an RDA to install cedar lattice skirt under the existing deck, and they have asked for this to be continued.
The representative was not able to make it tonight, so we would like to continue this.
Okay,
I have a motion for it to continue.
alright, good.
Seconded.
Excellent, all in favor? Alright. So then, moving right along, we have Valerie Wenzel at 4 Riverfront, an RDA to construct a garage and loft addition. And they have also asked for continuance.
Move to continue.
Seconded.
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
And then moving on to Joe and Donna Wadlin at 64 Southern Boulevard. We have an NOI to install the 160 square foot shed. Alright.
Evening, how are you?
Fine, how are you tonight?
Doing alright, thanks.
We're having a great time.
Your proof of mailing and everything?
Yeah, I have all that. I have the public care sheet. And, what do you want?
Yes, I remember this one.
And when I met with Doug, he had said it could be elevated, 2 feet.
Right. Alright, so,
You need this as well, the updated address. So, pretty straightforward, just a storage shed, 16 by 10. And, we got the ZBA approval last Thursday night.
okay. And does anybody wanna speak up, any questions, any comments? Feel free, there's, the commentary from, DP was basically saying, just keep the shed up. And it's a thin file, so there's not much to share around. But, that's just a shed.
You say it's gonna be up 2 feet?
And that's doable easily enough, doesn't really,
I don't get all the junk out of the house, my wife's gonna put me in the storage shed.
those are hip now, tiny houses.
Put a solar panel on it, didn't
Anybody, no, anybody out in the audience, any commentary? Okay.
You're gonna mention off the property line?
Yeah, the ZBA said 10 feet, from either side.
I don't have any. Works for me.
Alright then, suppose we can give your motion then.
Move to approve the project.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Alright, easy peasy.
Thank you so much.
it? Yeah, appreciate it.
Good idea.
Avoid the axe.
Alright, and then, do I have the signature, or you have the signature?
Sorry, Frank.
There it is, I have it.
Thanks, thank you. Yeah, we're waiting for that, right?
Oh, yeah, the 10-day conversation.
Yeah, so, 10-day appeals period, once Doug comes back, he'll write out the order of conditions, and the 10-day appeals period starts to be stamped on the envelope that goes
Then
out.
you just call me up and work it out.
Hey, I know.
Thanks
It
so
will
much.
need to be
I
recorded.
am obviously not on her mission, it's good that other people have paid, you know,
I'm glad I'm not doing it.
it's a team effort. Between everybody else, I probably won't screw this up.
Maybe.
Maybe. So, and alright, so moving along, we have Michael Croton, 158 High Road, an NOI to repair the existing septic system. And is that the septic? Let's open this one up, show these out.
Good evening.
Hello.
For the record, my name is Bob Grassel from Engineering Land Services.
Hello.
I have a DEP number of 050-1293 with no comments.
Chandler Square on all the other stuff?
Yeah, I get rid of it. So, actually, yes. This is a septic system repair for an existing 3-bedroom dwelling shown right here. It's serviced by Town Water, shown cyan color right here. We have wetlands on the site. We have the flag by North Environmental, shown in blue right here, 1A through 10A, shown right here. The 50-foot wetland setback is shown in the first yellow line, and the 100-foot wetland buffer is shown in the second. The existing system right now is shown in orange. It's had a Title V inspection in the field. We also have on the site a floodplain elevation of 13, zone AE, shown right here. This heavy line right here, which is basically back across the wetland. This has all been mowed over the years, that were discontinued after the style. The wetland flags, so it's all along the area, we had wetland flags, metal stakes. What we're proposing to do is replace the existing tank right here with 1,500 gallon, actually it's a 2,000 gallon combination tank, 1,500 holding tank with a 500 gallon pump chamber, and hook it up to a Presby system shown with an L shape here, because the lot's so small you couldn't get a conventional rectangle system. So we have to work with the land. There's an existing driveway that traverses through the property at the rear and then enters the garage under the driveway right here. This is a gravel driveway off that pavement, which they actually, there's a turnaround that they actually use right here that will be eliminated. But they will turn around right on top of the system. That will be grade right there. Right over the key box, which is, that's their H trains, that would be protected, just back up and leave that for a turnaround. During construction, we're proposing a silt sock shown in gray that traverses around the proposed beach area up above the existing gravel driveway and along so the trucks come in to do the construction, that those silt run off to the adjacent property. They'll be an elevated system, roughly, we're actually proposing a retaining wall along the back edge to stop the impact on the buffer zone. There's a grading that we need, will be elevated roughly. The system is 16.6 and the grade is 14, so it's roughly 2.6 feet above the highest point right here. It goes down to 0, 2.6, down to 0, 2.6, down to 0.
Okay.
So basically a failed system. They want to be compliant, it's maximum, they can with Title V in the local bylaws, Board of Health regulation. We have a meeting scheduled for May 30th with the Board of Health to approve this. The agent has reviewed it, she didn't see any problem with it. So she's had it for a while. I just talked to her tonight before this meeting, so she didn't have any problem.
So could you get into a little bit, what's going on with the existing failed system? You guys are gonna pull that out?
Yeah, that will be, that portions of it that we use, it's a piping stone which is underneath the driveway. We'll leave that in place and just let it die off. If it doesn't get fed, it will just die off. The bacteria will just die.
Okay.
So any portion that we actually hit the system, we'll pull that system off and put Title V sand in.
Okay, so the orange and the green, will they overlap?
That will be pulled out and Title V sand will be installed wherever we need, wherever.
So you're saying the sand, you're gonna, if you hit the old system, you'll rip it, you'll lay
Yep.
down the new system, and if there's a gap between the excavation and the new system,
We'll put Title V sand.
okay.
We're actually doing an over dig right along the driveway, so we won't disrupt the pavement right here. But the only pavement that will come up will be right in this section right
Okay,
here. So we didn't want to cut off the use of the garage.
right, so you're envisioning keeping the garage accessible, okay?
That's why we did the north street. And we're basically 6 feet at the edge of wet, which is basically, it's been mowed for years, grass. But after this point, it'll all grow up. The regular wetlands that actually mentioned here, as well as over here, will come out.
So do you mind running through the decision to say lay it there as opposed to anywhere else in the property?
Well, in front there's not really any side rooms, we have a steep slope, elevation 26 down to 16, it's a 10-foot drop. Right? It's pretty steep on the side, it's a steep coming down the side. There's no room to put it on the side or the front, we have, existing town water coming in from High Road. There's not really any other place that we're trying. We're actually using a Presby system, which is a 40% reduction in conventional size. So we're trying to do the least impact in the buffer.
Okay. So the side driveway, the existing gravel drive, right there, yeah. So why not use that space, or,
Well, we started off, the higher you go up the slope, the higher we go this way, the higher this gets this way.
right? Well,
So
the
we
presumption with
try
the,
to, balance, doing balancing act.
well, the presumption with the gravel driveway there is that that's level ground, no?
It's slope, it's from 18 to 16, it's actually, it's not level, it's tipped like this.
Okay. Yeah, the thought on my mind at least is that in a sense,
Well, we have to give them some type of turnaround right here when they back out.
Mhm.
We try to keep them off, the leaching septic area right here. Trying to keep them in here, and if they need to park another car right here, it's right there. We try the best. This is a tight lot.
Yeah.
There's not much room to work with.
Yeah.
This is well thought out about the L-shaped configuration.
well, the question on my mind with the L is obviously you hit the wetland and you corner and you come back to the wetland on this side in a sense.
Yeah. With 10 feet there and 6 feet there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, if there was the 6-footer is not gonna go anywhere, but if there was a way to increase the 10-footer and pull into,
Well, the 10 feet is Title V, that's the code, that 10 feet is a leach area to the property line. And we do meet that, we have 10 feet here and 10 feet there, so we play back and forth. So we meet Title V on the 10-foot standards.
right, I meant more the boundary of the wetland, it's that space, if we could put if that could get pushed back somewhat, that corner.
Then you're gonna push it more towards.
Well, no, I assume, I don't know, but,
Yeah.
that because he likes bend, that they can, you can push the L this way and it pops up that way.
Well, I'm saying there's storage right there now for a camper. That's why we held that right there, for storage.
Okay, well, I mean, I had my say in the moment, I'd just like to open it up a little bit and see if anybody else has a
I mean, the lot's not that much area to deal with anyway.
Right, and the slope on the front, it kind of
There's no possibility of putting it on the side or the front.
Right.
This is a repair now. We're actually elevating the system up, we're protecting the groundwater.
Homes for sale, correct?
Yes, and we're actually making the situation better. It's in failure, and we're trying to do maximum feasible compliance with Title V and the local regulations.
Yeah.
Just, could you just talk about the membrane a little bit?
Oh, there's a polyliner, it's a 40 mil polyliner that goes along the retaining wall, so it doesn't leak out. It's a stone block wall. There's some gaps there, so they put a 40 mil polyliner at the top. It's 5 foot in depth. It lays vertical along the retaining wall and at the base of it.
Presumably that's to prevent
Any fluids from
things
breaking
going
out.
sideways.
Yes.
Does this membrane, why'd you stop there and maybe not continue a little bit further?
Well, because we meet the breakout. This is the only where it's gonna break out because this is the highest point. This will be the same grade, so there's no need to put a membrane in front. The only reason why you use a membrane is for breakout.
Yeah, just, it sort of looks like the system.
We go right up to the edge right here, so we meet the breakout going forward. We don't meet it going backwards because we have everything.
And how about on this side?
Yeah, that goes right to the edge right here. We can extend it.
I mean, I'm just.
Yeah.
I have a lot of confidence that you know how to do this stuff, but, I just kind of wonder how important that membrane is and why doesn't it go all the way to the end of
Well,
the
that would be,
drain field?
the Board of Health might condition that to wrap that around that one corner there and wrap it around that one corner. We can, if you want to put that in your condition that we wrap it around the front corners, we can do that as a condition.
I mean, do you see that as any sort of
No, I
improvement?
don't, that's all we do. I don't really, because anywhere it's gonna break out, it's gonna break in the back. It's not gonna break out in the front. So that's why we didn't curve it. So.
Right.
But we can if you want.
Is there enough room for?
I mean, the line will go right up to get in the edge of pavement.
Yeah, so the thing that we're worrying about here, I'm sure you can guess, is just that, basically you're flush with the wetland and any kind of construction mishap, any kind of, the
Well,
type
the
of-
silt sock will be the limit of work.
Yes,
So,
but
That'll be stated.
sometimes that doesn't work out, when things happen.
Well, once it starts construction, they don't pull out. It's not like, they start a job and leave it. They start it and then it's fully limbed and seeded until it's upon completion. So it won't be a project that gets started and delayed. Once it's started, the contractor can stabilize the area.
I'm not questioning that. It's more that, when you're so close to the wetland, you've got,
Well, basically,
a
this
hair's
this
breadth.
has been mowed, so we
Right.
actually took a lawn away from them. Alright. It was.
I drive by there every day. I didn't even know it was a wetland.
Yeah, so it's been established by
Like I didn't.
about this with an auger,
Yeah.
and, they find the
Surface.
models,
It looks like a lawn.
the high chroma, they find it through actually, we basically took all his lawn away. That's what we did. And the floodplain is also an issue too, which they're saying that.
All right, well then, I made my comment, but
I mean, in very wet conditions in the spring, it might look like a wetland. Otherwise, it looks like a mown lawn right now.
Actually,
The neighbor's yard, there's more of a mix of wetland vegetation.
yeah, it's a mix.
Um,
On this side over here.
yeah, exactly. Your town, the same word. Yep.
all right, well, I still, on principle, don't like having things right.
I know, nor do I.
Yeah,
Nor do I.
and so, my particular comment would be in the vein of, finding out more from the homeowner about like the inches and the feet available just to bump and open up a space. However, with that comment in mind, anybody else wanna?
Bob, do you wanna,
I mean, this is the best solution that we thought of. I mean, we're in a tight situation, whereas it was a lawn before, it was always used as a lawn. It was actually mowed way down to here. I mean, if you look at it, it looks like it's perfectly lawned area. And the botanist came in and flagged the wetland. We actually took it out. So that will return to
Phragmites is what it was turned to.
There are, I mean, there are established cattails
say
right
that.
next door, so
They're
hopefully.
already there.
I know, don't say it.
There's a lot of cattails there, so I'm hoping that it won't, there's loose strife and Phragmites in the area as well. So you don't know.
And, you know, this is a system that's used worldwide. It's a Prezi system. It's not just used in this country, it's used worldwide for restaurants, industrial plants, commercial, residential, hotels, everything. So,
The one point of flexibility I see or discussion is whether the jiggering the dimensions of where the long arm and short arm of the L are.
Right, you know, and, that would.
well, like I said, the higher you go up on the elevation, the higher this gets, the wall gets. So we're at 2.6 now. You need a fence at approximately 4 feet high, so that would be fenced off. You're gonna have a 2.6 drop right here, and it goes down to 0. And we did the best we could, trying to save the current use of the driveway and the garage under.
I mean, it's not a lot of slope if you move it, if you were to extend
Yeah,
towards.
the higher you go up, the higher that wall is.
No, I understand, it's just, it's not a, behind the house, there isn't heavily sloped like it is from the kind of the edge of the house, the western edge of the house towards the road, that's where the slope really picks up.
That's right.
It's more of a flat grade down.
Right, and so pushing it into that driveway, you know, if there should be plenty of room if we ask for that L to be sort of inverted or flipped over so the longer end goes into the driveway, there should still be enough room for the.
Well, we're still gonna get that 6 feet.
Right, you're still stuck. That
Yeah,
was-
you're increasing
Yeah.
this.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is, I mean, we're 6 feet here. I mean, we're trying, it's gonna be protected with a barrier and a stone block wall.
But, you know, I'm.
And we're elevating it also.
You know, we've made our comments. Does anyone else wanna sort of agree or disagree with the direction of our commentary?
The question I was gonna ask, do you wanna close the hearing tonight? Or do you wanna wait and see what the Board of Health has to say?
Well, they're under, it's a purchase and sale, and they need, there's a closing date. They've already delayed the closing date on the property. I'm afraid they're gonna lose the buyer if we continue the hearing. They were counting on the Board of Health. I talked to the agent tonight, she didn't see any problem with the plans. So once they approve it, they're ready to make the sale.
No, I mean, failed systems is, you know,
And we're making the situation
somebody
better
wants
here.
to get it sorted out
Yeah.
quickly.
And, you know, this system's gonna cost like $50,000.
That's impressive. Alright, well, you know, I made my thought, but nobody's,
What was your,
oh, just the L thing, but,
yeah, I mean,
you guys seem content with, the layout and the constrictions.
I think it's a tough site. I think moving it a couple of feet one way or the other isn't saving us a whole bunch of anything, so.
And because of the lawn situation and all these, alright. Well, do we have any commentary from outside here? Anybody here to comment on this? No? Alright. Well then,
I just have one more question. Do we feel silt sock is an adequate barrier?
We could put some silt, the silt sock with a silt fence behind it if you.
You know, I'm just sort of, and the other question I have for you is, I don't know how the construction works, but they can build this wall all from behind the wall.
They'll build the wall first and
Right,
fill
right,
it in. And so, once the wall is built and stabilized, then they'll start the construction of the
Yeah,
subdivision.
but they're not gonna have to be on the wetland side.
No, everything will come from the front. They're not gonna work
We're just
from
confirming
behind.
that, yeah.
So, you know, you've got erosion control almost right up to the.
Well, we want to stop them from going to us.
Right, no, I
tuck it up
understand,
there,
but, you know, it looks like there's some minor amount of grading outside of the.
No, there's no, that wall is actually, once they build that wall, that's it. I mean, there's no more.
Yeah, but what I
grade.
meant is on this detail you do.
Oh, that's
show-
just a typical detail of a silt sock. That's just,
Okay,
just showing the width, 12-inch diameter, silt socks.
but there, there'll be some
Yeah, I mean.
minor grade, just
Yeah,
hand grading
yeah.
around the.
Backfilling of the wall. You have to outside, dig outside the wall, of it, put some crushed stone there for a nice stabilization.
I don't know, some taller barrier would be at least helpful from a
Well, we
limited
using,
work.
yeah, we're using that 40 mil polyline, which we use.
I meant the actual,
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
all-
if there's a
all-
fence, if there's a silt fence
Oh,
with the silt
We can put
sock.
the silt sock, if you want to put that in our conditions, a silt sock with a silt fence behind it.
I think.
That's a minimum cost at this project.
Yeah.
The silt sock thing though, I don't know enough about.
And you don't want hay bales in there because you could get,
Right.
some seed
Right.
fragments and all that.
You guys may know more about this than I, but my how should we phrase it? Predilection, I suppose, for the silt sock is compost socks rather than any of the other stuff. Especially with the construction and the potential. I'm thinking that arguably just that moment when you're digging through the old septic and you've got your exposed wall, that's when the storm's gonna roll in. And that's when we're gonna have something, really blow out.
Oh, the silt fence will actually,
Right.
bury it and then the silt sock.
But to
will
have
cover it.
the compost, it filters more stuff out than the regular silt sock.
Okay.
Or maybe to do like a double line of the compost just on the outside, chances for, worst case scenarios, but that's,
That's something you write in your condition,
that's,
a special order of condition.
admittedly, I'm being very nervous about this, so I'm happy to defer here. But I think at this point, it sounds like we can take a motion, right?
So no question, you want to close the hearing?
I definitely want to close this hearing.
I mean,
I mean, the Board of Health didn't have any issues with this,
Yeah, that's fine.
and it's time sensitive,
So we're wrapping the corners on the membrane.
alright, so then what are our conditions? We got the corner wrap membrane,
Right, and some beefed up erosion control.
corner
silt
wrap
fence. Yeah,
Right.
silt
Yeah.
sock.
membrane,
Do you want,
a silt fence. Let's do the compost, just while we're,
Yeah, compost with silt sock.
instead of the silt sock is a compost sock.
Okay.
It's
Compost sock.
same thing, it's just changing the materials. Again,
That's
probably,
probably boilerplate order conditions, like no fertilizer and all that.
yeah, and the boilerplate, obviously, yeah, so these are the sort of the three beyond boilerplate. So with those three conditions in mind,
I
Yeah.
move we close the public hearing and approve the project subject to these conditions.
second that?
alright, all in favor?
Alright.
Alright, here we go.
Thank you very much.
Oh, this is my. Oh, okay, yeah, I might have taken it off. Yes. And then the whole 10-day thing,
Yeah,
yeah, he knows, yeah. Okay.
thank you.
And then I have in here probably the signature page.
Go the other way. Here you go.
Ta-da. Okay, that's back. Oh, come on. I'm throwing your pens everywhere. Bit of passion. There. Your passion is reflected right there. Okay. No. This is nice, I guess. See, we're having fun, right?
Yes, that's what it's always.
Alright, so, ready for the next one? Alright. Noel Helwig at 9 Olga Way, an NOI to delineate and modify the existing driveway. To delineate the driveway.
Just pick up the stones and put the same grass back where the stones were.
Do you have all your proof of mailing and all that stuff?
Yeah, I gave it all to you, but
You did already?
you know,
Can you see the checklist? Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
And your sheet.
Alright.
So, your peer sheet, that's the last bit.
This one?
Yes, it's here, I think right on top there, yeah, thank you.
Alright, and do we have a file number?
I
Is that
don't think we've gotten one yet, in fact, I think there's, if you look right there, that's from today.
Oh, this is from today.
No, right on top there,
Oh, this is,
that's from today.
okay, yeah, with the comment no file number.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that one.
Okay, so, there's that. And now, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what Jeff did and, some of the story, or was that the whole story?
that's pretty much it.
Okay.
There's beach stones there, and I wanna pick those up, move them to the driveway, and then plant the seagrass in that area on the side of the house.
Okay,
Is there some sort of, plan you?
yeah, do we have
Yeah.
visuals?
Yeah. Should have, a,
Drawing, sketch, or something? That was the last page, right?
Yeah, it's always the best. It's definitely, we just get into the end.
Yeah, start at the end, the beginning's all
So,
gobbledygook.
this is the house and the driveway, and then there's a staircase and a deck on the back. This area over here runs from the street back 40 feet, and then back here is all the seagrass. So I just wanna move the stones out of here and replace the seagrass out to the street.
And where's your existing drawing, where you're parking?
Right here, right in front of there's a 2-car under garage, this house is
Yeah,
elevated.
yeah, I saw a picture, yeah.
And, I just think it'll look a lot nicer with the great vegetation there.
And is there paving here in front of the garage?
No, it's just stones.
So, the commentary that we've got, it says that the description of the project is inadequate. Are stones native material from the beach or were they placed by humans? And method of removal of stones should be described, should be by hand, and will additional sand be added prior to planting? So I think, we've got a sense enough of the project to address that first point. What stones are they? Are they stones from the beach? Does it-
They're just the regular, I bought them on Beach Road or Bridge Road from the mason guy. He dropped them, they're the regular yellow stones like people have in their driveways.
That's okay. And then you're planning to do the work by hand, I assume?
Yeah, they're only very thin. I put them down, so I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take them back up.
No, I just wanna go through the list, that's all.
Are you gonna put them on the other driveway?
Yeah, because,
Spread 'em out.
well, if you know Olga Road, it'll floods all the time. So the driveway still gets water in it, so I can just add them to the driveway and hopefully it won't flood as much.
And I think after you take that up, you may have to augment that with some material, and it would, we would probably condition that it be compatible with beach sand.
Well, I have, like 40 bags of sand from the last time we had the king tide and the
Yeah.
floods came that I got from across the street, the emergency
Oh.
bags.
Yeah.
So I asked Doug about, should I put that out there to, I mean, it's gonna be the same level as it was before.
Yeah.
You know, if I just take the stones off, so if you want more sand there, I
Well,
can,
if
can
you
put
need
more
sand, it's just gotta be compatible sand, that's it.
yeah, no, it is, it's right from the sand lot, I mean, you know that that's where they put the sand.
Alright, well, that gets to the last question then. So if I understand this correctly, I don't think I have any comments or questions.
You're just making sure the right vegetation is planted where it look.
Yeah, I looked
Yeah.
up the, I had it written down here, whatever the name is for that seagrass that grows around here, and there's a place in Salisbury that I can get it.
There's their recommended density on that, Dan, do you recall from their?
The plugs and what is it, one every foot or something like that?
Yeah, well, they say what Doug told me was if you plant the plants, they'll just shoot out by themselves. And they're already growing up through the rocks, so I'm gonna
So if you give them
filling
the
through
space.
the fall is when they say is the best time to buy the bigger clumps. You know, I'll just fill it in as much as I think it's necessary to match up with the rest of the place, which is just, you know, it just grows all over.
Do we need to make any alterations to the plans prior to
Yeah, that's,
doing,
um,
or we captured everything in the comments and the minutes? That's why I'm trying to figure that out.
right. So, I think my, feeling is just that, as this is, if somebody wasn't sitting here or watching the video of this meeting, I don't think they'd be able to figure out what was going on necessarily, based on the plan as is, right? And so maybe if we can tweak this a little bit.
What would you say the existing diameter of those rocks that you bought and put here?
They're, you know, half inch. I'll be removed.
Um, and it may be, is there anything else that
Maybe like the planted area. Yeah, you know, just write it in,
Yeah.
planted area.
some design rules?
Never hurts. And any other sort of freehand commentary on, you know, just with this,
I mean, the only, you said you had the Latin name written down, and I was just a little unclear whether that was in fact American beach grass.
Yeah,
was
so
somewhere
North
there.
America.
That's what I looked up was, American beach grass, Amophilia berbergulata.
like on the planting.
I think I wrote it on the bottom.
Yeah, you got American beach grass here, I think just put your initials on that.
You know, sort of a feel that it, you know, the idea simply being that when somebody else needs to know what's going on, they can see more from
Sure,
this, and they don't have to call you and harass you, and, you know, call Jen and crash Jen.
She can try and read my handwriting.
It's not bad, it's pretty good.
Okay. That one's
I
correct.
appreciate the effort, it was nice moving. So with these particular edits to our submission, is everybody, do we have any comments from outside? Okay. Feels like, we can have a motion.
Move we close the public hearing and, approve the project based upon these amended plans that are on file.
Second that.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, lovely.
No, you're gonna wanna send a copy of this updated plan and answer those questions to DEP, otherwise they're not gonna issue you a DEP number.
Okay.
Okay?
Right, and the answers are essentially what we just,
Can I get a copy of the questions?
Yeah, just give that.
And then I'll.
and then let's answer the
and then
questions.
get a copy. Do I need a copy of this too?
I can make a copy of that for you.
Alright, so yeah, if you make that copy, we'll just write the answers on here. Sorry.
And then I have to send those into,
The DEP, same place you sent your original application.
okay. So I have all those answered.
Doesn't hurt. We might have to take a motion to like rearrange them.
Right up the answer.
So,
I just looked at this and saw that was continued. I just wanted you to hear for that.
We voted, right?
yeah.
We voted, yeah. Yep, I'll get it going.
So after I mail this in, I have to wait to hear back from them, and then they'll send me a number.
Bill, I don't know if we'll notify you that things fallen away from doing that, but we'll see it come up and then that's when Doug will issue the order.
Okay,
Okay, and then we'll give you a call.
so I'll just keep in touch with them. Great, thanks.
Are you gonna want a copy of that?
Be enough to sort of go.
Very good, thank you.
Sure. And, you know, well, actually, you guys said, I was listening, I'm sure, all guys said.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, do we need to, Ben made a good point about, one of the things further down in the docket, and so, do we need to, do we need to do anything official to bump up an item? Do we have to take a vote on moving something, or could we just sort of announce it?
You can just, you can do everything in order as long as,
Okay, no, that's fine, just wanna double check and confirm, because I don't know any very rules.
it's on the agenda, the meeting's well underway.
Alright.
We can call something early,
So we're talking about this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Is anybody here for 171 Orchard?
That one's gonna
That, exactly. I have a feeling there's at least one person or two people in this crowd that are waiting for that.
Yeah.
And I just saw that it was continued, so.
So is anybody for 171 Orchard?
Are you here
I'm
too?
a butter.
You're a butter. There's only a butter, so we're just making sure there's nobody here to actually. We have it down as being continued, there's nobody here to actually.
They've asked to.
Come up.
So.
So if you're in a butter, we're telling you right now, this hearing is going to be continued, and I'm
Well,
sorry
why
that
don't
you.
you call the hearing and continue?
Yes, okay, it's okay,
So-
so we're gonna do this.
Alright, so let's do this the official way then.
Yes.
Alright, so next item would be Robert Britton, 171 Orchard Street, an NOI to construct a dock. They've asked for a continuance.
They don't have comments from the Department of Marine Fisheries yet or a DEP file number, so the representative has asked to continue to the June meeting.
This is a brand new dock, right?
Yes.
They may have to do it.
Move to continue.
So seconded.
Second. All in favor? Alright.
Thank you.
Welcome. You're here for Britain. Good night. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Is it too late to offer a comment about it?
Because we had to close, because it's been continued, you'll have to wait until the
Right,
June
and
meeting.
they, without them here, we never actually even officially opened the.
But we did open it, and it's been,
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Right, it's the wrong language.
Yes.
June
We
18th.
haven't talked about
Yes.
any facts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry about making you wait.
Good eye though, seeing them and knowing, hold on.
I didn't see that earlier. But I didn't see it earlier.
Still, good, better making the way back.
I'll take the win, thank
Yeah,
you.
win.
Okay.
Alright, so back to, now I feel like anything else to see then.
No, we only did.
Alright, where are we? David Cowie. Alright, so next on the agenda, David Cowie, 11 Annapolis. An NOI to demolish existing decks, porches, stairs, and a brick patio area, and to reconstruct new decks, porches, stairs, and a building addition on piles.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Matt Spinell. I'm from Millennium Engineering. I have copy of the plan here as well as I have a hard copy I can put out on the table here to make it a little easier. Here tonight representing the applicant David Cowie, project to do some renovations to his existing home at 11 Annapolis Way West. The plan you have in front of you here shows the existing conditions on the left-hand side and the proposed conditions on the right. On the existing condition side, on the street side of the building, there is an existing deck with an underlying paver patio area below the deck. That deck has stairs here and they come up around attached to this deck, and then this comes all the way to the rear. There's another set of stairs that comes down off the bathroom property and access here with a walkway out to this property on this side. This deck wraps the corner and is a portion that's covered. What they're proposing to do is to remove all of the decks and porches and stairs, as well as the brick paver area below the deck on the street side, and to reconstruct them virtually in the same spot, with the only addition being that they intend, you can see it over here on the proposed side, but so you can see it a little better here. On this corner, they're gonna wrap it around that corner, so that they can wrap the deck on that corner. They're also changing the deck that's on the front side to actually be a part of the building addition, so it's in basically the same footprint. So no new impacts, but they are enclosing it, and it's gonna be part of the actual building expansion. So the decks will be reconstructed in the same footprint here, and here, expanded around this corner here, and then this area turned into living space where that deck and that patio area was before. You'll see in the top corner of the plan here, I've given you proposed improvements area table, which indicates both the buildable dwelling as well as deck, porches, and stairs broken out for you pre-construction and post-construction. The net increase in the building area is offset by the net decrease in the porch area. So in the end, there is actually a net increase, total net increase, I think it's 60 plus or minus 60 square feet, 63, something like that. Square feet increase in impact total. The majority of that impact, because again, this work is all being done in the same footprint of what's there now, is the expansion around this corner. We calculated the square footage of that impact on the proposed over here to be 103 square feet of impact to the dune vegetation in that corner of the house. And as such, we're proposing a 4-to-1 replication of dune grass out here in this area of the property where there is areas that are not vegetated. So there's a 4-to-1 replication ratio proposed. DEP did issue their file number. They had some comments as it relates to monitoring of the vegetation to ensure survival. It's the first time that I've seen DEP issue that comment. I was a little surprised by it. Honestly, the 4-to-1 replication ratio usually covers the idea that vegetation survives in a quantity larger than what was lost by the construction project. It's why we offer such a large replication ratio on most projects, and then you don't need the long-term monitoring. But that was a comment, so I'm sure we'll have to address that.
Yeah, just while he's on that topic, I'll read the comment. It says all dunes on barrier beaches are considered primary dunes, and the project should be conditioned to fully meet performance standard found in 310 CMAR 10.28. No lattice or sidewall should be used in the pile supported structures to maintain sand movement. Commission should condition continued monitoring of the success of the dune grass planting area. So that's what he's referring to.
And at this time, there is no lattice work proposed under the structure, so, yeah, we're good for that comment that they had.
That takes care of that, yeah. Alright,
Do you have any pictures?
that's
Yeah,
actually what I'm just
yeah,
looking for, some
photography.
photography.
Of the actual site itself?
Yeah.
I'm sure I have something in my file at the office electronically, because we take a lot of digital.
Well, there's some flood zone stuff here, but it's all,
Decide to do it.
I can't say to the scale of any help, I
Yeah, I
have
just,
the,
I think sometimes we have, planting areas, that doesn't
yeah,
really.
the scales that they have is for the natural heritage map and for the FEMA maps are really not very helpful.
But,
It's easier.
sometimes planting areas are proposed that are pretty well.
Better what?
Sometimes the planting
That's what we
areas
add
are
on.
proposed are
And
not,
that's why they're doing the 4 to 1.
they're already
Oh,
That's gonna make up.
This is gonna make it.
Right, no, our
Yeah.
crew went out there and they located, there's actually more vegetation, more vegetation detail that my crew got that's not shown on here because it actually overwhelms the plan. This is the edge of the vegetation line they picked up, but within these areas, they picked up areas of like the plant called heather. Like they spelled out different plants for me, so I have more detail on what plants are out there, but this is the edge of what they call vegetated line, and this was the sand area in here.
yeah, nothing like doing that.
it's pretty thorough.
And so,
Honestly, on this side right here, they called some vegetation in here, and there's a wall in here, it looks like some stones.
Which site was that?
This is actually being shown as vegetated, when I know that there's a larger, yeah, it looks like it's eroding, and I don't know
No,
what
that's
vegetation is actually holding there.
Google Maps.
So I think there's actually more areas of sparse vegetation than we're actually indicating.
so then, do you wanna get into that, 103 square foot and just sort of, if I'm reading this right, I may have zoned out on this part. It looks like that's just porch.
That's just the porch that's wrapped in the corner,
So
so
it's 3 posts you're looking to put in,
there's three, well,
or
there's two posts here,
and that's the other post is 6.
and the other post is in the footprint of the other one, and then it's a 6, that's where it's tying into the actual building.
Okay. And what are we doing for the posts? What's the idea?
Wood post to the ground, but what I believe they're proposing at this time, at least for the porches, because there's not a lot of weight, there will likely be sonotubes. Over here, because of this, they'll have to have that looked at by structural engineer, there's gonna be living space there, they may have to do some type of a helical pile or something.
It actually says on piles.
Okay, yeah, again, because of the weight, it's living space.
So wood piles, and it's just, the support here is from the existing foundation.
Correct.
Is this full foundation?
It's a full foundation. Originally, the applicant actually approached us about doing some more significant work, but because of the lot area calculations and the amount of grass and impact, he scaled back everything to be this minimal impact plan. But the idea was to gain some more living space, so that's why he ultimately decided to convert that deck there to a little bit more living space and not increase.
This is the north arrow, yeah?
Correct.
So this impacted area is on the northern side of the house.
Correct.
Yeah.
The north west.
Sorry, I'm thinking in terms of, vegetation is not getting good sun to begin with. That corner is already shaded out by the,
For at least part of the day,
yeah, it's getting the least offerings. So they're really gonna get shaded out, arguably now. Because now, if you put that on top.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, our belief is that the 103 square feet there's a potential for some of the vegetation to survive, but we're going under the assumption none will. So if 103 square feet are impacted total, I'm not counting just the footprints of the footings and saying any of the grass will survive.
Yeah.
Hopefully some will, but if none of it survives, we're replicating a 4 to 1 ratio of algebra on the site, so we have significant vegetation improvements, I think, compared to what's being lost.
And then, what do we got in terms of limited work stuff, like the conversation we were listening to earlier?
Sure, at this time, I've not proposed anything because all of the work is within the footprint of existing structures and they're all gonna be working from the driveway. But if the commission wants something, I would propose something like the orange construction fencing, Silt fence, things like that don't make sense on this because the resource area is the entire area. It's not like it's one side of the fence or the other.
Yeah.
So if it's just a matter of delineating, we could go, right from the front, following right along the grass line and put up something here. And put up something here, as well. We could wrap right around the proposed addition. And it just for the purpose of construction of the actual structure, and then they'd obviously have to remove a portion of that or come in by hand, the way to do the plantings on this side here, they'd be crossing.
Yeah, I'm thinking more in terms of the psychology of lunch break.
Yeah. Yeah, or, dumping pallets of wood and, just stack it over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any elevations of this, the way this is gonna be done, like, very separation from the ground there, or is it just on grade?
Oh no, this is like a second story. There's a garage entrance here now.
Okay.
So this is gonna be built at that same elevation up above because it's the second floor that's coming up to access it. Don't know, I know the architect has done some work, I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, well, that's helpful.
That is helpful.
I knew I had photos somewhere. That's some of the vegetation you guys were asking about.
Yeah, you guys want to say?
There's existing, this is the spot.
You can see this is that wall I was saying, how
Yeah, it's a good bit of slope
things
there.
are eroding up in here, the vegetation really isn't growing in this thick.
Do you know if that wall keeps going?
It does, you can see it on my plan here, it starts, you can actually on both sides, existing conditions, it starts here and it goes to there,
So this photo, the wall is like from there to like out to
here.
Okay.
It starts right there and then ends.
Okay. But there's no it's more of a curiosity thing. You haven't seen any sign of, anything like the topography of the sand. Yeah.
No, that's it, they're big rocks, it's not like it's a well landscaped wall.
So that's just an old piece of landscaping rather than
I
some.
think somebody put it there in an attempt to probably stop this eroding from occurring.
Mm.
I probably shouldn't have reminded this is my boss's stamp plan.
Okay. So the 4-1.
Here we go, this is what you were asking.
I mean, I just, what you could show to make it clear.
Being an odd,
Not-
Yeah, he didn't give a profile, he just gave me the floor plans.
Check question.
I mean, it's,
He usually sends me profiles.
Which way is that? Oh, yeah.
Can we inquire about,
Yeah, I think that's a
the,
good question.
what exactly the current and future,
So just
the current and future plans are for accessing the property from the north side?
So this plan has the edge of grass here, and this little sand is just written in. It says sand. It's a park scar from up here there. So that's what this is.
I think at one point, I don't know if it's still the case, the owner passed away here, I don't know if it's still in the same family ownership here. I think they were parking a car there because they were running the business out front there. If that's something we want stopped, we can definitely even propose that be vegetated.
I mean, it looks like they have no parking.
I don't know if it's a
If it
lot
is, it would
coverage
be
and
plus.
I don't know if it is either. I just didn't know how it fit into the lot coverage calculations and everything else. Because it's not sand, it's impacted resource technically.
Yeah.
It doesn't, for lot coverage, we're talking about zoning, the calculations that we're talking there, and they only talk about, things like roof areas and things like that, not really parking surface, especially gravel.
Yep.
So that wouldn't affect the lot coverage.
Okay. It's not part of the proposed work.
Yeah, I think since it's not part of what's proposed, and it's not anything sort of that's been, nobody's asked us for our opinion.
Yep, I'm with you. Curiosity.
Yeah, let's just sort of leave it at that, like, it's been noted, and we saw, but, we're not gonna.
Do you have a side profile?
of the building?
Yeah.
I do not, from the architect, that's what I just found the architect's plans and they were only plan views, of the thing, but, these here kind of show you from the side view how much higher, you know, that second floor is from the ground, so everything's gonna be elevated quite a bit up off the dune surface.
Let's see the other.
That's the street side there, the garage, current garage.
Yeah, that's illuminated and stuff. Switching on piles. I guess I'm more worried about this and having, plan, we're gonna, right, Dan, we're gonna want a side view showing the back deck and the addition to the back deck with the appropriate, spacing both off the beach and then, any proposed, are you gonna be replacing this lattice work?
No, so the last one is
Why do we-
coming off, that's what coming off the deck being built at the same elevation as the current.
Is that at least 2 feet above? Right, we need to have the
2 feet,
clearance.
yeah.
Is it, so we need to have plans showing the 2 feet? In this situation, correct?
I mean, maybe the pictures suffice for that, I don't think,
Yeah, I mean, if the pictures are sufficient to show that the existing is 2 feet, or if we need to go out and take a measurement. If it's less than 2 feet and we have to raise it up, I can tell you that's gonna kill the project. The applicant's not gonna have a step coming up out of this house to get onto the existing deck. And, you know, this is effectively maintenance, he's removing and replacing in the same footprint.
yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it is existing now, it's just being replaced, so, I mean,
Is it
this
2
portion
feet?
of it, I mean, I don't know how significant that is, or that's definitely 2 feet up. This, we don't have any indication that it's up, but it's, in fact, it's like 10 feet in the air, so.
The piles, yeah.
Yeah, that's all very obvious. I know what you're saying on the other side.
Yeah, on the north facing deck. I'm just trying to remember exactly what the source for the 2 foot spacing was. Was it a flood consideration or a sand migration?
Sand, it's
Yes, anywhere on the island.
That's next to the dune,
Yeah.
dune form standard.
Yeah. So I don't,
Yeah. It'd be good to see it on the drawings.
I mean, I would have to say that it's significantly more than 2. If you're looking at that picture, you can see how many step rises there are. And
that's a better picture, thank you. Yeah, and from this picture, it looks like you can't tell if it slopes up and gets skinny behind these 2 trees or
The bushes,
shrubs, yeah. But it looks like all of 2 feet to me.
So it'd be
Pass
really
that
short
around.
steps if they were.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Drinking comments.
Well, okay, as long as you just don't go past your authority.
Well, no, we should definitely go past it. Somebody should have a drink with drinking.
So, can you talk about, I think you already spoke to it a little bit, but why the, how should we phrase it, really intentional line for the replanting, you know, the zigs and zags are very, like, it goes here and then comes back out and like this little triangle,
this is existing.
I'm sorry.
This is the.
Replanting is just filling in the gap there. So we found an area when we started here. I think we came
Well, the
in.
question's still, I mean, close enough, I'm on the wrong plan, obviously, but it's a really,
It's
cornered
just square
line,
footage,
yeah.
yeah, it's just square footage, so we needed a 4-to-1, which we're only required to do 2-to-1. I recommended they do the 4-to-1, they had it, they weren't gonna be using this area, it's obviously not a useful part of the yard. And the more replication area we have, the happier DEP is with us, so, we suggested a 4-to-1 replication ratio, and when I was looking for 400 square feet, this being the most obvious place to do replication, that's what I chose it. They could have replicated the whole area, it's just cost and plants and.
no, I was just wondering if, you know, the picture, you know, you put out the wall, but I can't see any reason for the reason, you know.
Yeah, well, the walls up.
Well, yeah, I know, but
Okay.
I'm just using these examples.
What does Doug have on this?
Nothing. So, anybody here, any, butters, any concern? Nothing? Okay. The rest of the board feel like they've had enough to say? You have an opinion?
Yeah, I'm out of questions.
Okay.
Was there you have zoning to go still or anything like that, or?
I honestly don't know, I gotta talk with the architect, if there's a change in the overall height of the structure, then yes, we would have to go to
I'm just
zoning.
sort of wondering, keep this open, or?
No, because again, everything's within the same footprint of what's there now, so there's no reason to believe that zoning would have an issue with it.
But this is one we don't have the number yet, right?
We do.
We do have a number, okay, so there's a delay then.
As long as you know the little addition isn't going to, you
I
know,
think it's.
put you
I
over
said
those
it's
lot
a common
numbers.
path.
Right, and we do, yeah, actually, we showed it on here.
If there's any questions, it's
Right,
already,
then
it's
you
not
should-
vegetated right
But
now.
any addition to the lot coverage century.
That's why, that's.
Oh, that does as well.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
even if you're under the threshold, any addition to your
I assume that.
lot coverage will.
Then it
set
sounds like
you
we'll be going to zoning.
There's the wall.
I thought it was
Yeah.
just that there was a change in the
Those-
overall average height of the mean for the roof, okay, that's good to know.
Well then, it's.
then does it make sense to keep it open or not?
Not really, again, I can't imagine zoning having an issue with it.
Alright, well then it sounds like, we can open the floor for a motion. If anybody's interested.
Move to close the public hearing and approve the project as presented.
1 second, sorry. Well, I'm just saying that I don't wanna see this keep on going this way.
That's a good point.
The one thing I would say is about that little nub of sand that's a parking spot to the north, Dan, is that maybe as part of this, you could do something to,
Just put up a barrier of some sort, like a signpost that says, you know, thou shalt not
or,
keep driving.
or like, you know, like some type of stone or something that kind of delineates that existing parking spot so it doesn't keep on creeping into the vegetation. It's bordered completely by vegetation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if they're gonna continue, I'm assuming that because there's a staircase that's gonna remain, when you build, you're gonna sell the staircase off the north side of the building.
Correct.
The owners plan to continue using this as a right of way between the property to the north and this property. Like that's gonna be a continued traverse path. And perhaps it's occasionally people park here and traverse this path.
I can't
So-
say for certainty they wouldn't, right?
Yeah, I think that maybe as part of all the construction, to have something here that delineates this space.
Yeah,
so
no, it's
it's not-
good. So let's figure out, so as a special condition, you're proposing adding the language would be something like, in the area.
In the northeast.
The northeast, sand area designated on the plan, will need,
Can I make a recommendation?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Can I make a recommendation? So the intent here is to prevent future expansion of this.
Yes.
Not to eliminate current use.
Right.
So if I go back to the applicants and tell them that the preferred method here is to revegetate this, to eliminate it, but if they wanna keep it, then we can put up like a single section of post rail fence.
I'm trying to remember what the
Yeah,
last time we
yeah,
did this,
even
what the
though- yeah.
preferred way of delineating this stuff was, because we did this somewhere. I'm trying, on the island. I think we did post and rail, yeah, post and rail fence was fine, yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yes,
open.
perfect. Yes, absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
I was thinking.
In that area.
Yes.
Totally.
So that's,
My motion will be further amended with the addition of a condition that either fence or replanting will occur in a isolated sand area in the northeast corner of the lot.
Alright, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, very good.
thank you very much.
Good eye on you went all the place today. Alright, so posting right now.
We did butters already.
So the detail, essentially, we need to wait on, because you don't know what they wanna do yet.
Well,
So-
the way it's in the motion, I'm assuming,
they can-
either or will work.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering about the plan status, can you worry about another one showing, or the choice made, or, anyway, sorry.
I can submit a revised plan that shows the decision which one it will be prior to construction starting.
Great, perfect,
And then profile from there.
Yes.
brilliant,
I think we want a profile on hand,
okay.
in the final record.
Uh,
You taking this with you? Or are you leaving that?
That's your copy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we kept you around for a reason. No, I think that was very appropriate, because it was, defending the jurisdictional states that we are tasked with the protection of. And it's not getting to, yeah, so I think
I would do that.
yeah, you're good. Good man. He forgot his pictures. Alright. So, same one. Alright. Alright, here we go. Scott Kinter off Ralph Lane and Chandel Drive, an NOI to construct a single-family home with associated grading and utilities.
For the record, my name is Bob Grassup from Engineering Lancer. I have a DEP number of 050-1294, and DEP has reviewed with no comments. And I gave you the third one. Well, it's courtesy, I got all the butters lists from Newbury and Newburyport. The town line is actually the boundary line, somewhat of our lot, and it bears off, so we actually notified the butters in Newburyport also. For this one.
Alright. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about the
Okay.
project and the decisions and what you got here?
All right, well, this is we're filing, with conservation first, and then, we're gonna eventually file with the planning board, for a lot line adjustment plan and for a, definitive subdivision plan, because we're creating a right of way for the extension of Shandell Drive. I discussed it with, Martha, the town planner. She has, spoken with town council regarding this, and they will formally present that to town council for the definitive subdivision process to create. We're actually creating a frontage on the extension of Shandell Drive.
So what's the lot line in question?
The lot line is right now is go straight through.
Okay.
And we're gonna extend it so we can create frontage. Right now, this lot has no frontage. Right now, so we actually have to go through conservation first and then planning boards, to make it a existing lot. Right now, it's just a proposed, what we're doing is proposed, showing, it's vacant lot. The lot line is straight right through here. We're also, going to do a purchase, from the abutting lot of, tax map. U06 lot 124. We're actually gonna add a parcel to make it conforming with the 40,000 square foot and 32 square foot upland, continuous upland area. So this is, the lot line right now goes like this, straight through like this, and we're gonna add on this parcel, because we're subtracting this parcel from the front.
So just because I have no idea how that world
Yeah.
works,
Yeah.
what do you mean it has no frontage?
Well, right now, that, it has frontage on Chandel, but it's only like 50 square feet.
Okay.
50 feet, not square feet, 50 feet.
You
So we're gonna
typically do
create-
like 125.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're in the AR district.
So bumping this out, they keep the 50 and then they add like a 50 and a 50 and they get to 125 because
Yes.
one, 2, 3 is how you count the frontage.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure how they're gonna do it, but that's the
something
proposal.
close
Yeah,
enough
it's
for-
just like basically like a cul-de-sac, except we're making straight lines instead of a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
That you get frontage on the cul-de-sac, so we're actually, this is gonna be our frontage on Chandel. It's actually gonna make extension of Chandel in West Newbury. Scott has spoken with all the departments of Newburyport for access with the police department, and all the water and sewer department. We have letters from the city planner. We have all the letters to extend the, right now there's a sewer manhole that ends right here. He's proposing to extend the sewer line to a manhole up here and tie the proposed house and garage into it. We're also, the existing water service ends right here. All we're gonna do is propose to do a tap in right here into the existing water service. So let me talk about the lot first. It was flagged by Norse Environmental, probably about at the end of the fall of last year, showing 1A, 1B, and then down to 10B. Actually, 1A to 7A connects to 1B to 10B, showing the blue right here. The second line right here is the orange line. That's the 25-foot no cut, no disturb zone, showing orange right here. The first yellow line is the 50-foot wetland setback, and the second yellow line is the 100-foot wetland buffer, BBW buffer. What Scott's proposing to do is construct a new dwelling. It would be number 23 Chandel Drive, and it's just be extension. It would be extension, so that wouldn't be confused with Newburyport. It'd be a 4-bedroom dwelling, shown right here, and we're also proposing a garage, a 3-bay garage, right here. And we're going to extend the pavement, the existing pavement, up to a paved drive with a turnaround, shown right here. The closest spot to the distance to the wetland from the garage is 52 feet, and we're 42 feet for the house, shown right here. That's the closest spot. We're also proposing to the abutter right here is a tree screening with some arborvitae's spaced at 4 feet on the center, and a road in right here for the abutter right here. It'll be serviced by, like I said, town water, town sewer. There'll be no septic system, and basically we're grading till the pavement stops here, it rises up, and then it goes down towards the wetland like there. So there's a bump, like a 4-foot high berm right here. The current use of the property right now is basically, I've been on the site, I've done the location now. It's the butters and the surrounding neighborhood actually dump their leaves and their brushing on the lot. So Scott, actually wants to clean it up and develop the lot. He's owned it for about 1.5 years now. He actually lives right here. So he wants to construct a new home.
Alright. That sounds like
And during construction, we're actually proposing the silt truck along the 25-foot no cut, no disturb zone, and along the property line to do the tree planting right there. I have some renderings of the house that will be built. That's the front view. That's the rear view towards the back right here. It's actually higher in the front, and then there'll be a walkout basement in the back. Yeah. That's the rear.
okay.
And most of the grading would be in front of the house, and this is the all the grade would stay the same towards the pond and the wetland line, there's an existing pond right there.
And while you're on that topic, maybe you wanna speak to the wall and the elevation changes here.
Yeah, they actually see that in that back, in that rear, right here. That wall comes down like this, from the zero, and it comes up along the side like that. So that's that wall right here. It's a
Dumps.
What's that?
Well, it leads foot traffic directly into the buffer.
Well, it's sloping that way anyway.
Well, no, I understand, but it's creating a lane of traffic straight into, a perpetual lane of traffic straight into the buffer, which invites all sorts of,
Well,
only in every activities you would need to permit in the buffer every time you do
So-
anything there.
To that point, do you know this particular pond? Have you ever gone?
I've looked at it, so I don't know if it's good knowledge.
Would you go swimming in that pond? Probably not. Okay.
I mean, I have no reason to go swimming in the pond, it's a delightful beach right down the road.
Scott says it's about 3 4
Yeah, I think the point that
This isn't just the only
No,
area
it's-
that we need to develop, so we have to look at the definitive subdivision approvals.
Yeah.
Because we created frontage and we do that. We would have just, if we had frontage, we would have had to do a lot line adjustment plan. Or we have to go in front of the planning board and notify all the butters of the definitive subdivision regulations. Ask for all the waivers and all that.
I think what Ben maybe was getting more towards was that if people are sitting out on the patio and they say, hey, look, that's a lovely pond, we're gonna go down and go exploring,
Well, that may be trespassing.
well, there's that.
There's that lot line right here.
Who's the lot?
That is Harrisville Field.
The drawings show what I'm assuming to be landscape lawn occupying the buffer.
Well, would be, the limit of work would be 25-foot no cut.
No, I know, I understand, but you're taking buffer, existing buffer and turning it into a lawn. To be clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a sheet flow, grass, grass actually trees.
Not like a
Well,
vegetative
it's
buffer
bare,
zone.
it's bare ground right now, you see some, it's not that great of an area for, I mean, there's trees and there's no grass to filter it. Any sheet flow that goes on the pond right now.
This is all grass here.
Up to the edge, but over here is all bare, and just
It's all
woody.
ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, trees and vegetation, shrubbery.
Alright, so, I hear you, that, I understand what you're saying, so let's check in with everybody else and see what's going on here. Do you have any, commentary from this end of the?
Yeah. I think the thing on the retaining wall is a sense of where the height is.
Sorry,
Does Doug have some notes on the retaining wall?
This is, not,
This is
And the wall is, it's not like a straight wall, it's higher up here, it's feathered down to be that.
I mean, I think
It actually.
no, nothing so that you felt the need to address right now.
I think it looks different here than it does in the picture.
Okay, well, we're showing it's not, we
Well,
may put
see
spot
what it
on
looks
these.
like here is this is a big flat area.
No, actually,
But,
the contour is actually got cut off for some reason. I'm not
I mean, it
sure why.
says,
It should be
you
104,
know,
106 through
107.6.
here. That's the proposed grade.
This is the 10 area, right?
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. We're gonna pick that up.
When you go up the stairs, it's
The
gonna
actual
be
grade
brick, it's
is-
really gonna be fun.
Well, it's one
Existing
of-
grade's 102.
Well, that's down here, but I'm saying the 104 actually came in, for some reason, it cut off and inserted this drawing. Actually, 104 goes like this, and 106 actually comes like that, there's that hump. And then it goes back down to 104, 102 at the property line. So it actually goes like, it's level, this is a lawn area, there's a house right here, lawn area, and it goes up to a berm, that 4 foot, 5 foot run, and it slopes down towards the corner.
Can you remind me what the setbacks from the property line need to be?
The 20 feet in the front and 10 feet on the side.
It's a
They're
big
shown right here. See, well, that's existing. There's nothing proposed.
I don't think this is
This is right.
So you're saying this is 23?
We only need
And then
You only need 10.
and this is 10 here, 10 front,
Right.
10
It's
side,
still in two sets.
side rear, 20.
You see one here.
I guess my main comment's gonna be is why is this building here? When you could have it further from the resource area, you have at least 13, and can you get a
Well,
variance?
we have,
Even then, and you can get a variance from planning and zoning, you go.
well, the
closer.
grading, too, we can only grade 5 feet up to the property line.
So there's still,
Then we'd have to have another wall there.
it would get you further from the resource area.
Well, also I have a neighbor here that's, his house isn't shown, but, he's potentially, looking to do an addition on this side of the house. One like the variance was, we will, so, support.
Yeah.
So with that addition, it would make it real pretty tight.
I understand that.
Where it's 10 inches wide. We did 20 feet. Kind of placed it in the middle. And do, the least amount of driveway you could possibly the garage up front. And then turn around right here and back out and turn around.
The garage isn't connected though,
No, it's a detached garage.
so you can rotate it.
Well, we're at the 50-foot wetland.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The only one we're really encroaching is right here on the 50-foot no build.
Right.
Right there. The reason why we're doing that is because the grading, we'd have to construct a retaining wall here. Just a grading, it actually flows better like this. And that will be stabilized right here to actually be lawn, and it would be like a sheet flow, which is grass is like a filter strip, basically, instead of what you have there now is basically nothing, just no treatment at all.
Alright, so, I know, Ben would, likely be interested in a sidewalk. Would anybody else like to do a sidewalk?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, so then we can schedule that in a little bit. But, in terms of Ben's other comments about the current layout, so this is, how should we phrase it, plan A.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you know, if there's some plan B, C, D, any other alternatives you might wanna discuss.
Well, we can discuss that after the sidewalk.
Right, you know, but just sort of, put that in your, start
Yeah, I'm hearing
spinning,
comments.
Yeah. Cause I think to, as it's laid out, it's all proposed, you're not working from any existing,
I mean, we could rotate just the hair,
right,
as much as we could, just get that right at the 50-foot,
right.
no build on.
But to Ben's point, natural vegetation, natural circumstances, generally speaking, are the preferred infiltration medium. And so lawn, however good it is, usually isn't at the same level. And so the further back we can push all of that off of our pond, off of our wetland, off of our resource, we're gonna do a better job, as this bucket, regardless of, various zoning, et cetera. And so, the more we see from this plan that sort of takes that concern of ours into account, it's gonna be a lot shorter
Yeah, we have
conversation.
some grass water quality swales, at the bottom of the grass area. We could do some, little swales right here to stop the flow, get it treated and then have it released. What would you suggest?
I think that we should do the sidewalk and see what it
Yeah,
looks
no,
like,
we
and
can
then go from there, but I think that having some flexibility on where buildings are is probably gonna be what I would like to see.
Yeah, and-
Just because we're talking about yes, you can put something in the 100-foot wetland buffer, but you're talking about eyeball test. 85% of all that construction is in the 100%, or is in the 100-foot buffer, and you have some sneak over into the 50-foot setback, and you're basically talking about having a lawn all through here in the 50-foot setback. So you're removing all that vegetation out of the from the 50-foot setback and replacing it with a lawn that gets lawn treatments, that gets everything else that isn't gonna have any beneficial impacts to the resource area. So I think that what Brian was saying, where, we should do a site walk, we should look at it and think about alternative plans and everybody, and the resource being protected as much as possible. Well,
I can come up with some,
yeah, well, Mr. Kinzer gets to
some grass water quality, swale.
And, another comment, I don't know how this would work, from town council's perspective, but, you're, proposing this lot change to get to that, frontage, right?
Yeah.
But if there was a way to talk to council about just sort of, recognizing that what they're doing and what this means, pushes the building envelope further into the wetland area. If we were able to still use something up here, to help with the house and the garage, reframing and resettling on the parcel, that'd be a conversation I'd certainly like to hear their opinion on.
Yeah, this is the least impact. If we do a cul-de-sac, it's, a regular, cul-de-sac radius, it's really gonna push the building back. We did the least impact in the buffer zone.
No, I understand, but just the way the lot line is determining all these other lines.
Okay.
If we, I'd certainly be interested in hearing their opinion on
We've
alternatives to moving
actually
that
sat
line.
down with the council and went over this.
Right.
About creating this frontage, talking to, the departments on, fire department, the police department, 911, 911, 911 calls, who would handle it, So that would be brought up with the planning board, all the safety issues.
But I think, I understand what you're saying.
They're all artificial lines that are pushing into actual buffer areas.
Exactly. If the council or zoning could provide us relief, which would take the dwellings, closer up the lines, even that would move this, that would take this way.
Right, you follow.
And you'd be clear, yeah, I mean, we'd be very interested in that.
And maybe that's not a viable option for all of the legal lingo that operates with how lots are settled, but there seems to be an exception for everything, so. I'd be certainly very interested in seeing a letter from the appropriate folks explaining why they have to or why they can't. And sort of, I'd like to find out more about what box we're stuck working within, or if that box can get bigger. But I think too, we should probably talk about the site visit. You guys have anything,
Rachel, do you have anything from the planning board perspective?
No, we have to file with planning.
Okay. Okay, good. Yep.
I just wanted to start with the conservation and go right to the subdivision plan.
Just, there's one thing I think,
Sure.
Maybe do some roof infiltration type.
Yeah, we're gonna have a drip, apron around the whole house. There's not gonna be any gutters, it'll be stripped down to a stone all around the house.
If it's not, depicted.
Be a drip apron also for the garage also.
So,
And the slope of the driveway actually goes towards, the Shandell Drive, existing driveway, and so we're going up like that.
let's start with,
There's a catch basin,
what do we have for work week availability? Are you pretty quick like that?
We have our next meeting the 18th of June, is that right?
I think that's right.
Yes, yeah, that's what I filed already. What happened?
12, we're hearing 12.
So it's supposed to be more legal.
Well, my work week availability at the moment, until the first or second week of June is minimal.
Okay. So then, would folks be amenable to a weekend, like a Saturday morning kind of thing? Just to try to include them in, or would that exclude everybody else?
Or we can do it early.
When Bill Buck comes back.
There's also that, yeah.
we should, Doug will be
That's a
back
good point.
13th,
June third.
June 3rd.
June 3rd. So then.
Would he be able to conduct the site visit like?
As far as I know, yeah, I mean, that's up to him.
Yeah, because it'd be a lot nicer if he was there with us and such. So then if we punt to, say, the 8th or the 9th, that Saturday, Sunday?
I don't know if Doug would be amenable to doing a weekend thing, so
If we
he's
do him-
kind of, he's vetoed that in the past, he doesn't wanna do that.
Is he gonna wanna do a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday at the end of that week? He's not gonna wanna do a Friday,
Right.
so. I mean, if it's,
And where does that put your work schedule, because we're far enough
if
out.
it can be here like first thing or last thing, then, yeah.
So maybe like a 4:35-ish thing?
I can do that if other people can do that.
Does that sound?
It sounds better to me.
What day?
Yes, what
Not
day?
this day.
Generally speaking, does anyone have days in their evenings that are just to like cross off from the flat options we currently have? No?
Would Doug like a Tuesday, since he's gonna be working till 7,
I would say,
like, be part of his work day, the site walk? So,
Well,
I don't wanna bump it too close to his first day back, just for catch up, I would say, you know, if you wanna do it that week that he's back, you know, doing it Wednesday or Thursday would probably be better, just, you know, for his workload.
so if I may float an idea, we have that joint meeting on the 12th. Would you wanna say put the hour before that as our sidewalk? And that would, you know, set us up for 4 o'clock in the woods and then 5 o'clock at a joint meeting,
It's at 7.
or whatever, 7.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you probably wanna do it earlier than.
But just sort of, we can finish up here and then move on to something else, because we're all gonna be on volunteer duty that night anyway.
What was that figure talking?
12th.
You know, that,
Isn't that joint meeting at 7?
yes, sorry, I reversed them.
5:30, something like that.
And then, you know, we can all have a nice dinner, go for a walk in the woods, and then sit down for a nice discussion.
I think it sounds so idyllic.
Absolutely. Isn't that your experience doing this?
So you wanna do that at what time?
5:30? Seem reasonable?
You'll have enough daylight.
At that point, yeah. Okay.
Is that good for you?
Yeah.
I won't be able to make that.
Do you wanna be present? I mean,
I don't be present. Yeah.
okay, so,
I was getting there, so.
oh yeah, that's
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's just the first one.
First bill.
Second one's the same.
Yeah, wow, 2 in 1 year, getting it all done.
Alright, so then let's back up, when won't be getting in the way of the wedding?
It would be the following, the end of the following week.
So more like 20th, 21st,
It
kind of.
gets past the next.
Yeah, are you okay carrying this into the July
You missed the
meeting?
next meeting then, basically.
We'd have to continue it, not the next day, but the next day.
How about, Wednesday the 5th, Thursday the 6th?
Yeah, instead of going, like, are we too close to like wedding freak out when we're doing those days? Fair enough.
We're inside of a month.
So June 5th or 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal.
Okay,
Is that
No,
all right?
I
You
think
think that'd
that
be all
should
right
be
with Doug?
okay with that, yeah.
okay, so same thing, we'll do like a 5:30 on the 5th,
Sure.
Works for me.
okay?
Butters.
Yeah, I think it'd be better.
So visit. And so what we just meet at the end of Chandel, I guess.
So we're doing what?
We are going for a really idyllic walk in a lovely,
At 5:30 on the 5th? 5:30 on the 5th?
5:30
Yes.
on the 5th.
Cool. So then, are we ready? Anybody? Any commentary from the outside? Hey, all right. We did.
I have a real problem with the gentleman who just made that presentation right there.
Okay.
Could you
I live
make
in
it-
Newburyport.
Could you say your name for the record?
Oh, my
please?
name is Mark Gay, G-U-A-Y, and I live on Shandale Drive, 14 Shandale Drive. And first, for the record, I'd like, Scott and Pat are neighbors, so if they want to move to Newbury and build a house in Newbury, that's fine with me. I mean, everybody has a right to move and do whatever they want. But here's the problem. That hookup that was just presented to this board, to the Shandale Drive connection, there's a 5-year rule in Newburyport where you have to.
So I don't want to interrupt but just to get into our jurisdiction is the wetland. And any of the issues you have that aren't directly related to the wetland, we might be able to agree or disagree or nod our heads, but we can't actually, address.
So could you show me in the plan that was presented tonight where this cul-de-sac is?
That's not in our jurisdiction. The cul-de-sac discussion
So,
is entirely outside. It's all
so the
theoretical.
representation tonight is that cul-de-sac will be in Newburyport, not Newbury. Is that what the plan, no, you have a plan in front of you. If you're approving a plan, then you have to approve.
We're not approving any plans tonight.
Yeah.
We're not approving anything tonight. We're continuing this. We will likely.
That whole discussion essentially hasn't happened yet. They're showing us what they would like to happen and how it would lay out for the purposes of the wetland lines. But
We were saying that we had issues with how it lays out with the wetland lines.
yeah, so we're
Right.
still gonna keep talking in this, and if any of the other boards, bodies, commissions come back and say something else,
Okay.
and then these lines don't exist, then essentially this might just go up in a puff of smoke.
So do you have jurisdiction over the water and sewer lines that go across the wetlands right there?
No, because they don't cross the wetland. They come down the road.
So
They're coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not in the boat.
So the minute they cross the water and sewer, the minute they cross into Newbury jurisdiction, you're saying you have no jurisdiction over water or sewer on that plan?
Well, here you want to see. You can see
You
the.
can see the plan.
You can come see the plan. We can.
Yeah, I mean, I have a copy right here.
Right, but
But
just
if
it's
the-
real
if
easy.
The building is in Newbury.
Right,
then
but the
that
sewer line.
presumption is that water and sewer have to get to the building, I assume.
Yes.
From Newbury.
From Newburyport.
Right.
And their manhole cover is like what 10 feet
Right,
outside
you just said
our
I can't talk
jurisdiction.
about Newburyport, so I moved over to Newbury and you told me I can't talk about Newburyport. So I'm now in Newbury, underneath the building where the water and sewer has crossed over to Newbury towards the house.
It's
Yes.
still the wrong board.
Yeah.
So water and sewer, if it's in wetland territory, there's no problem.
Not quite. If you come over here, we can show you. It'd be a lot easier because.
Sure.
So this is the wetland that we're holding jurisdiction over right here. This pond.
Right. So the blue line is the
So
wetland.
these two,
They have
these
jurisdiction
two,
up to here.
This is the 50 foot and the 100 foot. So
Right.
this is just divided. So our
Exactly.
jurisdiction ends at this yellow line.
correct.
And here's the sewer coming down, and
Starts
that's
with Newburyport.
right, and
Right.
that's where their sewer would end, and sort of their home construction would begin.
Right.
And so that sewer is outside of that yellow line, not by much, but it's outside of the yellow line. And so this tie into the home would be part of the conversation,
That's right.
but we don't have
Exactly.
jurisdiction on that.
Right. So if the city of Newburyport disallows this sewer, where is the sewer going?
Well, this is at
That's
this
in the
point,
planning
it's.
process, that's in the planning board.
Yeah.
Right, and this is what they're proposing to another body as well, that we don't have any say over. That particular detail, we're gonna have to take somebody else's word for it and roll into this plan, whatever they say. Our jurisdiction has to do with constructing inside of these yellow lines.
Correct.
Right, and
So
so
where's the water inside the yellow line?
this blue line is the water.
Right.
This
So
is
where's
the
the
water.
water to the house? So that cuts right across between the 100 and the 50-foot.
Yes,
wetland.
but this whole disturbance would be what we would be talking about. And the water line issue, they will deal with that outside of things, and if all of
So the city of Newburyport, you're saying, has jurisdiction over that blue line?
No, I'm saying that we don't deal with those questions, and so it doesn't kind of matter whose jurisdiction it is, it's not ours.
Yeah, for us, the whole project, like when we're looking at this, like honestly, that they're gonna have a trench underneath everything that connects the sewer line to the house isn't a primary concern of ours. It's all of the construction inside of this
I
yellow
just
line.
wanna, okay, just
Yeah.
wanna make sure for the record, the water and sewer pipes between the two yellow lines here, you have no jurisdiction over.
Between the two yellow lines, there's gonna be so much other construction going on that while this would be jurisdictional, we would be talking about the trenching perhaps. You know, we'd be talking about how they might refill the trench.
Correct. Correct.
But-
So if there's no water and sewer allowed onto this property, where is the water and sewer coming from for the property?
Well, then they might talk to us about wells and, you know, septic.
Yes,
So they have other things, but all of that particular detail behind your hand, so like back up there, and the decisions that are gonna get made back
That's right.
here, we have no say over that, they're not our
So
decisions.
if the city of Newburyport says no to this, and said, go get your own water and sewer for the town of Newbury, if the town of Newbury approves this,
No,
then at that point in time, this map is no longer a
so
functional map.
what would happen is that if the city of Newbury says you can't do this, they would have to come back to us and say, we had to amend our plans because we couldn't get sewer and water, and we're gonna have to put in a septic field, we're gonna have to put in a well. And then we would talk to them about what they needed to do to permit that.
Right.
So,
So
all these-
how many fights at the end would we want to do this at, because basically until, in other words, it's a sequential thing going on here.
Correct.
Water and sewer is kind of important for a house to be functional. And if these lines are basically, this gentleman referred to this as being, we have the letters to approve this. I've spoken to all the heads of the departments here. There are no approvals. There are no approvals, and there's a 5-year rule here where you're not allowed to dig up this land.
Right, and all of that will sort of work itself out because as we were just saying, we're gonna schedule the site visit, go through, you know, our jurisdictional issues. You know, go out and see the land, see what they're talking about, see how the existing situation may change and what we were talking about. But those particular issues are gonna be resolved, and what they wanna talk to us about they may just call us and say, hey, it got canned, we're done, or they may call us and say, hey, I know this
I
changed,
think the
this
general
changed.
consensus is the city, people who are residents of the city of Newburyport don't feel inclined to solve problems of the city, of the town of Newbury, that you're basically asking us to solve over here because, you know, it's convenient to not have to deal with it going to Rolfs Lane by putting it here. And we've had 20 years, we waited for this road to be fixed, and it just got fixed within the last 2 years. And there's a rule here, there's a 5-year rule, you don't go digging the whole thing up, that was never designed. This whole project here was never designed to provide water to this
So
particular.
what is your issue is?
So hold on,
Is
just-
the street being dug up?
What?
This
Yeah,
isn't a
I'm-
discussion
I'm-
for
because
this
I
evening.
I sat here for 2 hours.
I
2
don't,
hours.
I'm not trying to shut you down, but I'm trying to make you know that all the stuff you're talking about,
Right.
no matter how educated we get on this
Right.
particular thing, it has no bearing on any of the decisions that we will or won't make.
No problem, I have no problem with that.
And so
I
that
get it.
means
I
then
get
that,
I get it.
I said, okay, so in that case
Again,
then,
but there was a misrepresentation made at the beginning of this conversation to you that the letters are all been prepared for this. There are no such documents.
I have the letters.
What?
I mean, we,
Well,
I've been your neighbors for a long time, I have,
OPD.
I have letters.
I spoke to them yesterday.
and so
They-
this
they-
is a discussion that you guys can have
No,
out in the
you have
hall.
no approvals, you have letters saying
We
you have
have-
capacity, but not approval.
Excuse me, we have more business to finish, and right now, this isn't inside of our space.
There are going to be other meetings.
There's lots of
planning.
meetings, yeah.
You
Right.
can go to those, and that subject matter is more relevant to those meetings, and you can
Right.
bring those issues up there, and
No,
you'll
I will, I
have
talked to
more
Martha,
recourse,
about this whole thing, but I think what people do resent is that the town of Newbury, this is a Newbury problem to Rolfs Lane here, this parcel was created, it didn't exist, it was created by combining 2 parcels to be a buildable lot, and they're dumping the problems onto the citizens of Newburyport, where we have waited a long time to get this cleaned up, but this could be resolved by just putting this to Rolfs Lane and dealing with Concom on Rolfs Lane. Because this touches about this property.
So I think, just to be fair, and I understand your frustration over this, we're not asking Newburyport residents to do anything. We've had a plan brought forward by a resident of Newburyport who was purchased, this owns this land, and is asking, can you do this?
Right.
We don't want to do anything here, we're not proposing to do anything here, he's
Right.
proposing to do something here. So we're not trying
He
to
just proposed it, saying we're gonna all come through this way and we're all good to go.
well,
I'm
he's
just telling you
hired
that's
by
a
him.
misrepresentation, they're not good to go. new report has capacity, but capacity is not the same as approval. There are no plans right now at the DPS, no plans, and after less than 24 hours of updating what's going on here.
Wow.
So I'm just surprising you that, you know, the little fast and loose going on here with the record.
For the record, this is not a misrepresentation, and I have letters for the record.
You have letters of capacity, not approval.
No, I have
There-
letters.
I didn't say it
no-
was,
So-
I'm saying we've talked, well, actually, he's talked to, I haven't talked to him.
No approval.
He's talked to,
Okay,
there's no
gentlemen,
approval.
we
This
have
is
more
proposed.
things to do,
Yeah.
and right now, we're done with
Sure.
this
I
conversation.
appreciate it. I've been sitting on those plastic chairs for 2 hours.
I know they're not
I wish I
comfortable.
could trade chairs with you for 2 hours, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Story
but
sitting there.
sitting is not fun anyway, but.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
There are other people here too.
Yep.
So, are you guys also here for this?
Yeah.
Anything to throw in that?
So one of the things that came up right away, I think the gentleman there picked it up, Scott.
Can I have your name for that?
My name's Derek Lyons, 21 Chandel, right next door to the Roach property. On the plan, Scott, it looks like you're up like 3 or 4, somebody picked it up right off the bat about your grading's going up, you're building up the property a little bit. For some reason, you've gotten yourself as close as you possibly can to our house, which is gonna put that slope after you raise it up, we're gonna get the runoff of whatever water off your house or drainage or, whatever you wanna call it, erosion.
Which lot are you just?
21. So if you see
That
you see
grade
the
up
slope
front,
change,
yeah.
the grade goes up there, somebody called it a berm. Sounds like a man-made type of situation where he's gonna go up higher, maybe you get a different view or something like that. That was one issue that I thought I wanted to bring up. I don't know if that's something we discuss here or.